Stan, we're liver than a motherfucker.
Are we?
Yeah.
Another episode of Menace and The Man.
Yeah, it is, Stan.
Episode 43.
Yep, sure is.
How are you today, Dennis?
I'm pretty good. Working man.
Working.
Doing working things.
Working up a storm?
Yep.
How's that going?
Pretty good, dude. Freaking got on the pole today. Haven't been on the pole in a minute. It's like, got to work on some... A little rusty. A little rusty.
A little rusty with what? You're climbing?
Yeah. A little rusty on the climb. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm trying to be like you.
All right. Did you update our thing? 43?
No.
Well, if you could do that and be a doll, and then maybe put something else up on there so our Google cam is up and ready. We're making some headway, though, with some technology. Maybe next week we'll do some Skyping.
Yeah, maybe next week we will do some Skyping.
No, take that off. Make that Google. Oh, you're updating it?
Yeah, I just did a little update, Stan. It's like you know nothing about
I know
stuff.
a lot about a lot. Why don't you Google Kevin Ross? We'll get him up there right before we hit him up.
Stan, it's like you don't even care about my look I'm throwing out today.
What do you call those things again?
These are blue blockers.
Blue blockers.
Yeah, I'm like a real gamer, even though I haven't been gaming like at all.
Oh, so people wear those when they game.
Well, these are for people that look at like screens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard of people that like their eyes start bothering them?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's because
They don't wear blue blockers?
right.
Okay.
Blue light isn't like good for you. Have you ever noticed that you would be I don't know, you're tired, it's late at night, you're trying to go to sleep, but you're looking at your phone and you cannot fall asleep?
Not really. I mean, I always have problems falling asleep.
Well,
but
you're a stoner. Well, I mean, it could be because you're looking at your phone prior to falling asleep.
You think?
I forget what the number is, but there's like a recommended amount of time that you should spend not looking at a, LED screen or something of that sort before going to bed.
All right. Here.
So
keep going.
A blue blocker, it's like you could just LED it up and you're not getting like, something to keep you up.
They're stylish. Would you wear those in public, or they're not prescription?
I call these these are not prescription. I call these my librarian ones.
Okay. So those are your librarian shades.
I have other ones. So put the camera on you.
Oh, are you gonna come back to it?
Now put the camera on me. If I'm really trying to get out there and be sniping on a fool, I'll put these ones on. Like I'm at the fucking hunting range, at the gun range, and I'm out there just like sniping on fools. Put the camera on you.
Why are you switching back?
Yeah, maybe.
He's climbing under tables and shit.
Shut your mouth. You better shut your mouth.
Where do you get these blue blockers from?
I'm ready. Oh, dang. Who the movie star? Okay, that's me.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you're just trying to look cool while you're gaming, but be blocking out the blue light, or I don't know, maybe you're driving in a car, but you're going co-pilot, and you're just in the phone hard.
Okay.
And you want to take a nap quickly. Maybe you put these shades on.
All right, we started a little late here, so let's jump into Kevin Ross, because I feel like we're going to leave people hanging.
Yeah, cool. I'm going back librarian.
All right, let's see what happens with this.
Try to look sophisticated. Kevin Ross, he was born in 1980. Former mixed martial artist. Can't really hear him.
Yeah, why is it ringing so loud?
I don't know.
Kevin.
Yo.
How are you? Welcome to Menace and the Man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Sorry, we're a little tardy. Me and Menace don't know much about technology, so we were trying to get things working.
No worries, man.
Yeah. Couple of Stan's not a musclehead, or like a jock, but
Bro, I used to be a jock. I used to be Jack. Don't listen to him, Kevin.
Okay.
So what did we catch you in the middle of?
Nothing. Just watching fights, getting ready to, just warming up, stretching out, getting ready to go train.
Are you back to training? Last night I talked to Caleb, and he said you had a broken hand.
Yeah, but I don't ever stop training, and I got the cast off last week,
Yeah, Stan. What do you?
so I'm back in the mix
Stan, what do you?
fully.
What are you, pussy?
No, well, I wasn't sure if he's throwing punches,
Oh,
punches already with
Kevin
a broken
Ross
hand.
doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
0 fucks given.
yeah.
So, Kevin, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're originally from Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
You
I was
wouldn't happen
born
to
in.
know. You wouldn't happen to know Charles Griffin, would you?
No, I lived there for just a few years, and then I don't even really remember much of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. You moved to Vegas then.
Yeah, actually, I was on the East Coast for a while. I was in New York and Georgia, and then I moved to Vegas in '94 or '95.
Word. Where in New York were you?
Upstate in Rochester.
Okay. My homie Greg Gillespie's from up that way.
Uh,
Do you follow much MMA, Kevin?
I wouldn't say I follow it. I mean, I definitely watch it and pay attention when there's good fights on, but not enough to keep track of or give you a list of fighters and things like that. But yeah, I watch it. I watch all fighting anytime it's on. But yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't even really keep track of too much.
I would
Even
imagine.
Thai boxing.
I would imagine you're similar to me. Like, if you're home and it just so happens it's on and nothing, you're like, yeah, I'll watch this shit, But you're not like,
Yeah.
guys, can't hang out, gotta get home, gotta watch the fights.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely if it's on. I'm down to watch it. And it's better than watching anything else.
Well, I was going to segue into there. If you don't know who Gregor Gillespie is, he's an undefeated UFC lightweight. He's actually one of the more like under herald badass dudes in the UFC. What is Gregor, like 11-0, 12-0 right now?
Yeah, something like that. Unherald, huh? You're just going with the big words.
Yeah, I feel like people aren't. He's under the radar still, Gregor.
Yeah.
I feel like he hasn't fully caught on. He hasn't gotten that big name opponent
Kevin,
yet.
would you say that's like $100 word he just used just now?
Sorry, say that again.
He just used like $100 word just now, right?
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Unherald. Wow, I haven't heard that, I think, ever. Maybe one time in a movie.
People say it all the time in fighting. So how'd you wind up breaking the hand?
I was supposed to fight in Japan 2 weeks ago on the Rising card, and 3 weeks out, so it was 5 weeks ago. I was sparring, and I don't really know because I didn't stop training and kept going for another 7-8 rounds. But I think I caught it on an elbow throwing body shots and just split the thumb joint in half.
Like a boxer's fracture?
No, I've actually done that 3 times on that same hand, but it actually, my thumb, the like the knuckle of the thumb, the lowest one, split in half and dislocated my thumb.
Yikes. And you were just like, no, I'm good. Just keep,
I really thought I just jammed it. It was just, I've done that a million times on my
Right.
left hand, which is just completely disfigured from all those. And, that's what it felt like. It just, nothing major. Like, oh, my hand hurts.
right.
So
You'll just tape it
keep
up later.
going.
Yeah. Fuck this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. The ironic thing is, Caleb, he's been working with me and we were talking about, overcoming things, like kind of getting that mind frame, like, things might not be going so well in the fight. You kind of want to get there ahead of time.
Right.
And I was like, I think I took it a little too seriously. Broke my hand.
And you're like, no, Gabe, we talked about this. I can just work through this. I'm good.
Yeah, the funny thing was, like, even when it happened, I was like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should stop sparring because my hand kind of really bothers me. I'm like, no, if this happens in a fight, you got to keep going anyway. So I just kept going, and found out it was broke like 2 days later.
Caleb's following after you. So once we're done shooting the shit with you, we're getting into Caleb. So I'm gonna
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get out all your demons. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, good luck.
No, but what got you into fighting?
Seeing it, I'd always loved boxing and martial arts growing up.
Because of your father? Do you have any older brothers or?
No, not at all. I'm the oldest of many siblings, and my father, he did a lot of wrestling in high school, but they weren't pushing me towards anything combative or anything.
Right.
I don't know. It's just something that just always intrigued me, and the ironic thing is I hated violence coming up. It just really
Same.
bothered me when I'd see people upset and hurt, and I'm like, I never wanted other people to be hurt,
Yeah.
and I was never angry. Like, I was an angry kid, but I wasn't angry at anybody else.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? So I never, took it outward. Some of my friends, they would fight all the time, like weekly basis, and it always intrigued me and fascinated me, but I never wanted to do it. I was just like kind of fascinated by it. I think because I'm more intrigued by the competition aspect of fighting, not like I don't take it in any emotional way at all. And you can hit me as much as you want. It's part of the game. It's what I'm doing. It's an art to me, not a anger issue.
For sure. Now, growing up, I mean, this is the way I felt growing up. Is like no other human being can beat me at my weight class. So when I found out in wrestling there was weight class, I'm like, what? I will beat every kid my age, my weight in the world. And it just, right? Did you have that kind of mindset growing up, or?
No.
No.
I was always extremely competitive, and I hated team sports though. I always hated it. I love to play. I love to compete. I just hated having to rely on other people, and I was always the person out there who was just pushing it harder than anybody else, regardless of size or speed or anything else.
Right.
I was pushing myself like that, and it was just it was very strange because if you would have asked if I was going to be a fighter like a week prior to me ever starting, you would have laughed me out of the room, because it was just so far away from any kind of way that I was, and but like I said, I was always extremely athletic and competitive in that nature. I just hated the team sport aspect of
What sports did you play growing up?
all of them. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey. I even played tennis for a little bit.
Yo, I fucks with a little tennis.
Yeah.
In high school, like my senior year, like I don't know, like all the seniors would go down like on a Friday night and just play tennis and like spark up some 2v2s. And then once you learn how to get a top spin on the ball, tennis becomes very fucking fun. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed ping pong much more. My father actually was a really great ping pong player, and he played tennis as well. So that's the one thing he kind of got, like, was like, "Why don't you try this out?" And I never really liked it. I was like, "This shit's stupid."
Yeah. Because I can hustle like a motherfucker and turn on a dime. So tennis is up my alley.
Yeah.
But like tennis is one of those sports. Well, maybe not a sport. Like for example, like beer pong, bowling, darts. When things start going bad for me, it just fucking snowballs and gets fucking worse. So if I'm down in the cards in tennis, I start trying to make up for it and like come back with some big plays, and it just doesn't go well. And I'm angry. It just gets fucking worse. Same for you, or you keep it together?
I'm pretty good at keeping my emotions out of the thing. Like for me, it's more about just like intensity. Like I'll crank up the intensity, but it's never an emotional response to me.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though? Like in beer pong or something like a game where you have to, like, when you start getting angry, things just start... Stan, can you relate to this at all?
Almost similar to fighting. Like when you
Hang on. That's what I love about fighting. When things don't go your way, you get angry, you can just fuck that guy up.
Yeah.
And it works out better.
But I was saying almost similar to fighting. Like when you're trying to knock someone out, it's harder than if you're just flowing and like go,
Correct.
Yeah. You're almost
I mean, it worked for there's certain fighters that, of course, they fight really well with anger and with emotion. But for me, it's actually extremely counterproductive. The only times I've ever been angry at an opponent, I had really shitty fights, and it wasn't a positive thing for me because it gets in the way of my focus and what it is that I'm doing. I lose sight of just flowing in the moment and
for sure
paying attention to what I'm doing. So for me, it's a distraction and a deterrent. But a lot of people, it really does work for them. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah. So we're having on Jeremy Stevens a little later. I feel like he's one of those guys when he starts losing, like you could see it on his sleeve, his emotions, and he's like, "No, I'm actually going to try to murder you."
Yeah. For sure. He definitely fights with emotion. And then again, like some people might see the way I fight, and of course I like crank it up when I am getting hurt and injured, bleeding all over the place. But again, it's not an emotional response. It's just like, all right, now I gotta pick it up and run through you and prove to you that it doesn't matter how hurt I am. I'm gonna keep going.
For sure. Like I said before, I like fighting for me. When you're getting fucked up, you can get pissed off and let it out. But that's actually not the way I fight. When I'm actually getting fucked up, it's like, yo, focus or die.
Yeah.
So like the more I'm losing, the more focused I become.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Kevin, if you've ever seen Dennis fight, he usually gets dropped and then comes back to win. So if he gets dropped in the first round, it's like, oh, he's probably going to win this fight. So like once he gets hit, he turns it on.
Unfortunately,
I tend to do the same thing. Almost every fight I've ever been dropped, I came back and either knocked the guy out or won. And same thing with like the serious damage and cuts I've had. I don't know, like that's the thing that almost like frees my mind from thinking too much and just it's over now, and then everything just comes more naturally in the way that it should to begin with. I'm like, why don't you just like crack me in the head while I'm walking to the ring, and this will work out better.
Oh, 100%. I always say, whenever I used to compete, I always said to someone after the fact, if you would have just smacked me before the fight, I would have focused so much more and like thought about the actual competition.
Yeah.
So now I heard you say you were watching fights. What were you watching?
Some old K1 fights. I was watching Masato and Kaishenko, and then I saw Kaishenko and Sauer.
So now is that like a normal occurrence for you before training? You usually check out some video and then you get in the gym and try to work some technique, or you just that's what you do?
That's really just a nonstop thing for me. I always have fights on, either that I'm watching or in the background, and yeah, definitely prior to training. Sometimes from the aspect of stylistically watching some things that I'm trying to sharpen up or implement into my game. Sometimes watching stylistic things that my opponent might do, or just fights that I enjoy or that get me going. There's various reasons I watch them.
Apples and oranges. I used to watch Barry Sanders highlights before football games, and I'd be like, "Yo, I gotta be Barry out there." It went all right. I didn't score a lot of touchdowns, but I juked out a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, so like you said, you're always watching fights. When I was wrestling in college, man, I was constantly watching old school wrestling matches, the Brands brothers and stuff like that, Terry Brands, and I became super obsessive with wrestling, where I feel like I wanted to win so bad it actually hurt me.
Yeah. I mean, there's always that balance between going too far and being too much about the end result, and you lose sight of what it is that you're doing in the moment.
Right. Like I would be in class fucking, Dennis Bermudez, national champion. Dennis Bermudez, beats so-and-so by this score, just constantly doodling it. It was all I thought about, unless I was like drinking alcohol, really. or like hanging out with girls. Like wrestling was it, and when I got into MMA, I like kind of told myself like, hey man, maybe don't think about fighting as much as you thought about wrestling, Also, fighting for me was like, it's like my second love. Like wrestling was like my first, like my, that was my girl. That was the one that got away,
Right.
And then like fighting's the one that just like, it's here now. It's treats me good. I'll stay.
Right.
But what about you, man? You got it? You have any girlfriends, kids, wives?
Oh yeah, that's like a question.
That's a complex question.
Ooh,
I feel like that's the question everyone asks Kevin Ross.
That
probably.
question. Because I mean, you're a stud, 5'10", you tatted up a little bit, right? What's the move? You on Tinder? What's?
No. That's that's just a long. It'd take me a good hour or two to explain to you the history of my life as far as that goes.
Well, here's what it is too, Kevin. Dennis is kind of a casual fight fan, where I'm more of like in deep. So I know you did or you are dating Gina Carano, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's probably a question he gets asked every interview.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not the way Dennis asked it, but what's going on?
Yeah, that was very unique of you to go about it that way. But yeah, that's not something I like to kind of get into. We try to we do we do our best to keep, we're
you.
obviously very public people, but try to keep that aspect of it on the
Okay, cool.
the
No,
lower end.
I respect that.
And
Yeah.
kudos to this guy. He pulled one of the all-time MMA chicks. You know what I mean? Like one of the
yeah. It's like her and Misha Tate, right? Would you say?
yeah. Oh yeah.
And then who's the other one?
I don't know.
Who's the alpha male chick?
Oh, Paige.
Yeah, Paige would probably be in that.
Well, Paige, Captain Ganu, but like Captain, what's her name was the original Gina Carano.
Yeah, I
she
would
was
agree.
like the first MMA female star.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, for sure. Is she still banging out movies and shit?
Yeah, she is.
Dope. We gotta get her on sometime. We'll shoot the shit with her.
Oh yeah, she's a movie star.
Yeah.
She might be too big for us. She's a movie star.
Hearsay. What else do you do? Do you like ride dirt bikes and shit or what?
No. I'm an artist, I write, I play the piano a little bit. I've always been an artistic inclined person, and to me fighting is a form
Like an
of
art form
artistic
for you.
expression. Yeah, so everything I've ever done has been along the lines of artistic expression.
Do you know Chris Algieri?
I sure do. He actually commentated one of my fights, and like he was interviewing me prior to it. And I'm like, man, this dude looks super familiar. I just can't place it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I went back and watched it, I'm like, oh shit, that was Chris Algieri.
Yeah, he's been on our show a couple times. But he's actually he's an artist, and so whenever he posts on his Instagram, when he'll cook, he cooks, and his plates that he makes are like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, that's the way because I don't have time to draw anymore, but I have to cook because it's part of my career, so I decorate my plates. And he cooks so his avocado is everything's like neat, and like his plates make my mouth water, make me feel like a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Chris, that's what you're doing, huh? You woke up at fucking 5:30 to
Chris Algieri is putting out some hardcore food porn.
Yeah, he's dope. And
nice, man.
He actually just put out a book, The Fighter's
Kitchen.
Oh yeah, nice. I'll have to check that out.
For sure.
So
what was your kind of art is music?
That's what I was going to ask.
No, that's really the really side thing. But I've been drawing and doing art since I was born. Basically, I actually got my degree in computer animation.
Dope,
and,
dude. That is so time consuming. It's retarded.
Yeah.
So I'm a studio art minor, and I remember I made this little graphic where like my name came across, and it took fucking forever. And it's like very what's the word? Like
tedious.
Tedious, yeah. Hey, that's exactly the word I was looking for. Thank you, Stan.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that your fallback plan after fighting?
My fallback plan.
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, you can't fight forever.
I got so many kind of different facets of my life that I do with my art, with my writing, with fighting and teaching, and fighting has never been like this is my thing I'm going to do forever. Obviously, I know that,
right.
and I know every fight can be my last fight, though. This is just something that I'm putting all of my time and energy into because it is the one thing that is on a limited time frame. So, I still maintain on all the other things that I do and, do them much more, after fights and things like that. But this is really what takes the majority of my time and focus.
Yeah. Cause I was actually talking to a coworker, today, and he was talking about, over the years he's learned how to like just tinker with things and fix things and manufacture parts for his boat and shit like that. I'm like, damn, yeah. And then we started talking about like computers and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm not very good there. My kids make fun of me and shit like that. I'm like, dude, am I a complete piece of shit and just fucking put all my eggs in the basket of fighting? Because, like, I'm not amazing on a computer. I fucking can't tinker and, like, fucking MacGyver shit together. I'm like, man, I can only beat people up. I suck.
Yeah. Well, that's more than a lot of people can do. So don't bash on yourself too hard.
Well, I'm hard on myself.
You're better at computers than you're giving yourself credit for. Like,
Yeah,
there's people who know a lot less than you. Like even your coworker knows a lot less than you.
Yeah.
So what about teaching? Is that something that you feel like you might do for the long haul after fighting?
Well, I mean, it's something I do currently, and it's a question of how much more motivated I'm going to be once I have more time. I say, maybe when I'm done fighting, that is what I'm going to really want to do and pursue and push to a greater extent. But at the same time, maybe I'm not going to want to do it at all or do it at a much smaller scale. So it's really just kind of going with how I feel in the moment. And, I definitely think it's something I'll always be involved in at one level or another. It's just at what extent, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's different for all fighters. Like sometimes they retire and they're done. They don't want to teach. They don't want to coach or anything like that. And then other guys, like one of our friends, Ryan LaFleur, he's like, I can't wait to teach. Like he loves teaching. He loves the whole aspect now that he's retired, that he's a coach and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really do enjoy it a lot. I love passing it on and but for me it's so much more about the people that have that same kind of drive and passion as I do.
Right.
I have a hard time teaching people that are just there screwing around. I'm like, you can go hit the bag all day and I don't want to waste my time with you.
Would you say that's your problem with teaching Menace? Like,
I hate, and I don't know if you agree or not, Kevin, is like I hate teaching someone from nothing.
Yeah.
Like from the start.
Yeah.
It's like, and like you can tell that they're not that athletic and they won't be that good. It's just like but there's something awesome about grabbing someone and you're like, damn, this guy's a fucking athlete.
Yeah.
And teaching them some shit and you're like, damn, and then picking up pretty quick. That's fun. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's no real money in that though. The money's
No,
in
of course not.
teaching Joe Schmo, who's never probably gonna fight ever, how to throw a punch and be enthusiastic and charismatic and hey, you're doing great and like, but you're like, I don't give a fuck,
Yeah,
It's tough.
So yeah, it's very tough. So for me, as long as there's a combination of the two, I can do it. But that's why I mean, I definitely can see myself having like my own little home gym and I'll invite some people over that are I know we're getting into it and that kind of thing because I love helping people that are actually on the path and wanting to progress and looking to to be the best that they can be. But as far as people that don't know or just screwing around or just can't do it at all, that's where it gets a little tricky. And especially right now while I am still fighting, I'm like, I don't have time to pretend to be motivated to help you when you don't even care about this.
Can you kick a baseball bat in half?
Yeah, I'm sure I can. I never have done it, but
I love this.
I'm 100% confident that I can do that.
So I don't know if you know who Melchor Menor is.
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, he was my Muay Thai coach on The Ultimate Fighter, and he's done that multiple times. I'm like, and he says he like takes his brain and takes it to like another universe, and like I'm like, God damn.
he blocks out the pain.
Yeah, hang on. He's a complete sicko. So I was hitting mitts with him. I was getting ready to fight in Mexico City, right? He had me hitting 1, 2, 3 leg kick. So I'm like 1, 2, 3. He's got no pads on. I've got no pads on. 1, 2, 3. I leg kick him. Bang. Like light. He's like, you can kick me harder. I'm like, okay. So 1, 2, 3. Harder. Dennis, you can kick me harder. I'm like, okay. 1, 2, 3. Like, I'm hitting him 90% now. He's like, harder. I'm like, you motherfucker.
You call me a pussy?
I'm like, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got. Wow. All right. Like, harder. I'm like, what? I kicked him 1, 2, 3, probably 10 times. And then I was like, hey, coach, we got to switch this up. My shin's starting to hurt. He's a psychopath. And he's out there.
Yeah.
You're in Vegas or Cali now?
I'm in San Diego. I see him pretty regularly because he actually holds pads for people over at this spot I do some of my conditioning at. So I see him almost every week.
Have you gotten any work with him? He's amazing.
So we only worked once together, and this was 12, 13 years ago. I was getting ready to my first time, or no, it might have been my second time. I think it was my second time going to Thailand, and I was just in town and needed to get a workout in, and he helped pass. I mean, it might have been 2 days in a row. But yeah, he actually because he was somebody that I would kind of like looked up to coming up because he had trained under Toddy as well, and he was like the big name, one of the big names going around as I was just kind of getting started, or that had just he was just kind of finishing up around then.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'd always known of him and kind of looked up to him as far as fighting goes.
Not that I think you need it, but if you want me to fucking, network that bridge, I would be more than happy to. Seriously.
No, like I said, I know I've known Mel for like 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't see him very regularly other than at the fights until recently when I moved down to San Diego. Now I see him almost every week. Now,
except for Mel, my second favorite Muay Thai guy, John Wayne Parr. Have you had any interactions with him?
Yeah, lots. Again, all this kind of ties back into Toddy. He came and trained out with him prior to me ever even starting, and that's when he met his wife Angie, and then they got linked up and everything. And another guy, as I was coming up, that I really looked up to, and we trained once. He came to the gym. This is right when I was getting started, and then we've known each other, since basically day one. So. Yeah, it's always great when we run into each other at the fights. I'm gonna get him on the show next week.
Oh,
yeah,
John,
yeah.
He said he'd come on.
John Wayne, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
amazing. His Instagram is one of the best Instagrams out there. It's amazing.
He's good. Yeah,
I feel like Master Toddy would be one of those people that probably has endless, amazing stories as well.
We should get him.
Yeah.
I don't have his
number. He's a character that is set apart from any other you'll ever meet.
Yeah, and he was like one of the first Muay Thai guys that I remember even like getting recognition on the American scene. Like when I was a kid, at least, like growing up, like I always knew of Master Toddy.
Sure. He was definitely one of the first to ever bring it over here and help it grow here. And he was the one of the best Thai trainers there ever was, especially here.
Yeah. So what's your timeline for the hand healing up?
Well, I just signed a fight in 9 weeks, so I hope to be ready by then.
Okay. Who you got in 9 weeks?
I don't know if I can say yet.
Oh, you can say it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah.
We'll go into the guessing game if you want.
No, it's so. I re-signed with Bellator, and that's who set that Ryzen fight up for me. So it's for them. It's their first show this year, which is October 12th in Milan, Italy. And it's what's this guy's name? It's the guy Varga just beat last 2 months ago.
So you're gonna beat him.
He fought for the title. Yeah, that is the plan.
I like that.
Yeah. And then their next show after that is their first ever card in Japan, December 29th. So I'll be on that one as well.
So this next one will be for Ryzen or Bellator?
No, it'll be for Bellator. I mean, I'm hoping to fight for them one of these days because I was really, really looking forward to that. And, obviously they have a good relationship with Bellator because they were cool with me going over there and doing it, and they were the ones to set it up. So I'm hoping we can still do something in the future because they do some amazing things over there.
Oh, for sure.
I tell you what, Kevin, I didn't know who you were before this because, like I said, I don't really watch a ton of fighting. Like next time I'm in Cali, dude, I want to I feel like you're one of those dudes when you walk in the gym, motherfuckers like, oh, that he's an OG.
Yeah.
Just by the way you talk, like. I fucks with you. You drink beer?
Sometimes. So the thing that I was an alcoholic most of my life, and that's the thing that kept me from going after this fighting dream for so long. And when I started, I gave up drinking cold turkey going into 2003, and went after this, and that's that's what I've been doing ever since. Now, I do drink on occasion. I'm actually taking this year off of drinking because I wanted to get refocused and make sure there was nothing holding me back after everything, and so I mean to do that. This is probably the 5th time I've done it. I'll take the whole year off just to kind of reset and refocus and that kind of thing. So I'm 8 months into that.
What's crazy is like people can't do that. Like everyday people, like for example, I've seen women like get pregnant and they almost hate their lives because they can't drink. It's like, yeah, that's what your life's about. Like you can't drink for 8 months or 9 months and like you're gonna lose your mind. Really, that's insane to me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and a lot of people just don't have an outlet to deal with a lot of the mental and emotional things that they feel. Fortunately for me, I do have fighting, and that takes almost 100% of it out. I unfortunately I do have that addictive personality to alcohol, so it's more along those lines as opposed to something other people deal with. But yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to, is just you don't have an outlet for what you're feeling.
Right.
And drugs and alcohol can help you with that, especially if you don't have a physical outlet or a mental outlet.
Yeah. Hang on. When things hit the fucking fan for me instantly, it obviously depends where I am, right? Like and who's around, really. You know what I mean? Like let's say like my girlfriend breaks up with me. I'm not gonna like start hitting the bottle like at 2:00 on PM in the PM by myself. You know what I mean? If let's say my girlfriend broke up with me at like 8:30 on a Friday night, like, hey Stan, guess where we're going? We're going out. We're getting fucked up. It's getting weird, But like 2 p.m. on a fucking Wednesday, I'm going for a fucking 10-miler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going for a goddamn huge run. I'm blaring emo music. I'm fucking. I'm taking my mind elsewhere and like putting my energy there, where like your average house mom, I guess, like, I don't know. I can't run that far. I don't work out. I don't do that. Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's something so positive about having a physical outlet, whether it's fighting or sports or anything
yoga.
Physical for that matter. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that so few people want to go in that direction.
Fucking go in the woods.
It is a positive thing.
Go hiking. Yeah,
go to the woods.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So quick, Kevin, before we let you go, how'd you get into working with Coach Caleb?
So I believe it was Matt Brown introduced me to him, or he had done some work with him in the past, and then maybe Caleb reached out to me, and then I talked to Matt, just asked him how it went. He was very complimentary of them. And, we just started. This was, I don't know how long it's been now, at least a few months. We started working together. And I'd done some work with similar kind of mind coaches in the past, which was always very beneficial to me. One of the first times I started doing it was because of all the problems I had after my 3 hand breaks. And I was really just kind of getting over that mentally. More than anything, and from that point, I did a lot more moving forward. This is well over a decade ago, so it was always something I knew there was a benefit from, and just got to introduce to him. I do believe he reached out, and I know that I talked to Matt about it, who I've known forever as well.
Yeah, and you know how it is. We talked about it with a couple of his other guys that he works with. A lot of times for a fighter, especially, it's like, I'm not a pussy. I don't need a mental coach, but it's just nice to have someone to talk to and someone to like bounce ideas off of and whatnot.
Yeah, it's just, it really is just another tool you can add to your arsenal. I think sometimes people might misconstrue it as like therapy or like you're weak or something when
right.
There's so many different ways you can use and apply it. I think it's beneficial to just about anybody for a variety of reasons. It's not just one way to do it or to use it or anything like that. Everything's very unique to the individual, and just having somebody, like you said, just having somebody to kind of bounce off, an unbiased person to bounce ideas off of is such a helpful thing, because like everybody around you is invested in some way in you, whether it's actual from the sporting side of it or your family and friends, like they care about you, and they're always gonna give you their opinion, but it's going to be biased in a way, even if it's a positive thing. You can't get that outside opinion. So that's very beneficial for me to have, and and so much of it too is just to hear myself say these things out loud that I'm thinking in my head, like, you know, like I'm just going to talk them out. And, you know, so much of it is you're doing a lot of it on your own, but just having that sounding board and having that person be like, okay, this is what you said. You know, this is, you know, what I'm getting out of that. Is that kind of what's going on? And, you know, that's obviously in a very small area of it, but it's much more deep than that. But yeah, I think it's extremely positive and beneficial thing that so many athletes, particularly fighters, get a lot out of.
So Kevin Ross, you've done a ton of interviews and podcasts and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
You
actually did
yo,
like
you
a 3-hour one earlier today.
You fucks with Menace and The Man.
Yeah.
That was a weak yeah, but I'll take it. No, but
what's that?
No,
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
I said you fucks, like, we're different. We're slightly different. Like,
yeah, I hope so. I hope I'm different. You guys are definitely different. I hope I'm different. And
your next opponent, how you gonna beat him? Like, you excited? Like, shut the fuck up, Alex. All right, you've never fought one day in your life. Don't fucking try and sit here and talk fighting with me. I have fought. I don't want to talk about fighting, so I try to talk about life shit and all that. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah.
So.
Oh, for sure. So, Kevin, you got that fight, and you said 9 weeks, right?
Yeah. No, the 12th of October.
So before the 12th of October, we'd love to get you back on. We want to talk about family life, what you're doing in your spare time, some other shit. Let's get into some street fight stories.
I want fucking street fights.
That's all Menace wants is street fight stories.
Yeah, I want to know about a motherfucker that crossed you, like, at a young age, and you were like, damn, wow, got him.
I got you, man. Yeah, anytime, man.
All right, fucks with it.
All right,
fucks
so
with you.
Thank you for joining us, Kevin Ross. You're the man.
All right, my pleasure, guys. Thank you.
You're now my third favorite Muay Thai fighter.
Who's 1 and 2?
Oh,
Coach Mel and fucking John Wayne Parr, dude.
Okay.
Well, that's good company, man. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you again for joining us, Kevin Ross. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, later, guys.
Peace. Yo, he's I get how he gets like a freaking hot chick like that. He's like smooth, like he got like a cool voice, I guess.
You got a little bit of a man crush on him?
I don't know. He's got like cool, he like got the one buzz cut, you know.
His hair is always different, it seems.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he changes it up.
He's got some ink.
He does the faux
He's
hawk,
like
the mohawk.
Slightly sophisticated, you know.
He's an artist.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Kevin Ross. Everyone go check him out, and we'll definitely get him back on the show again. So, yes, Coach Caleb said it's okay. We're going to jump into Jeremy Stevens first.
All right, cool.
And then we'll jump into Coach Caleb. But, yeah, I'm a fan of Kevin Ross. That was a good interview. We didn't get too many laughs out of him. I feel like we didn't go into street fights.
I feel like he's one of those dudes that, like...
Well, you know what it was? He's a Muay Thai guy that you don't know. So we almost had to go through the interview of, like, who are you? Before we were like... You started going there. You're like, are you on Tinder? And then it's like, no. He's actually dating probably behind Ronda Rousey, the most famous female fighter.
Yeah.
I would think. Oh, yeah. And she's a smoke show as well. So props to that guy. He's probably swinging a hammer.
Bigger hammer than me. Right, he's a 145er.
Yeah, but he's skinny. You're like short and jacked, so your thing looks smaller, I'm sure, because you're like more compact.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to ask someone else.
Yikes.
All right, let me enter Jeremy. Why don't you give a little bit into your flex cam right there for a couple of seconds.
Look at that. What's happening to my chest? There's an alien in there.
An alien?
When you came in, Stan, what was I doing?
Working out, getting
Fuck
swole.
yeah, dude. Not trying to be fat like your ass.
Or,
no, actually, Stan. Hey, Stan, you've come down.
Yes.
You've lost a lot of weight since we've started the show.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
not a lot of weight, but
enough.
Like,
well, you were either working out or you were jerking off viciously when I got here.
Yeah, I was in spandex.
Yeah. You were all sweaty, breathing heavy. You were upset that I came here that early, so I don't know what I interrupted.
I was not upset. I asked you if you could be here at 6, and you were here at 6.
You were jerking off too, and then that's why you were like, nope, working out. You did like 1 or 2 sets just to cover up what was really going on.
No, well, you wanted to start at 6:15. I'd only done 2 sets. I was gonna do a third, but I was like, let's get the show on the road.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get your swollen on after the show, maybe.
Negative. I'll just do more tomorrow.
All right, let's go, Jeremy Stevens.
No ringback tone, huh?
No.
Yo.
Jeremy.
Jeremy!
Yo.
What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How we feeling right now?
Oh, fantastic, man. Putting in that work.
You know who I saw yesterday, and I told him that you're coming on the show today? Eric Uresk.
Yeah. Yep. Eric.
He just flew to San Diego today.
He did.
Yep.
Nice. I'm actually up in Costa Mesa right now. I've been putting in some work with Ferguson. He
dope.
invited me up to his gym, so I've been up here working like a fucking madman. But I'll be back, I think, probably Thursday. So hopefully he's still there.
Thursday, you're going back to Alliance.
Yeah, I'll probably be back maybe Wednesday night, Thursday for sure.
Yeah. So Eric is like,
He's an OG.
he's definitely an OG. I wouldn't say he's spiritual though, right?
Spiritual and violence.
Yes, but like he put up a post today on Facebook like, so I've been living in Phuket for 5 years around amazing friends and amazing fighters, and I decided to return back to, but I felt like I was getting too comfortable, so I flew back to the United States, and I was been home for 5 weeks, and I'm going to go back to my favorite city of San Diego. I have no place to stay, no job, but that's what gets me going is like fear. So and not being comfortable. So I'm gonna use my skill.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but just someone put out there that to have him hit me up. I have an extra bedroom at my house.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite training partners, man. His wrestling and he was so small and able to get underneath and like hold me down, man. I enjoy training with Eric.
Yeah.
Ursex. So he's somebody reach out to him, tell him just to hit me up. He's got a place.
Okay.
Warm plate of food at Mikasa, so
okay.
we're all good there.
So
Beautiful.
so that's one thing me and him were talking about yesterday. I was like, because you, Jeremy, are a goddamn, you're a competitor. Would you say you're more of a gamer than a gym hero?
Yeah, I would say at first, at soul pure heart, I'm a fighter who's learned martial arts, the discipline, and became athletic and really taught myself a lot of mental toughness and just life experience. So at the source, I would say fighter.
Yeah, because Eric has come into my gym, and I'm pretty sure the same thing that happened to me has happened to you. Is like, who's this little jack motherfucker that's about my weight? That like, and you see him going with other people, kind of fucking him up. I'm like, yo, not here. And then you grab a hold of him, and the next thing you know, you go for a ride, and you're like, what? Nah, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm going to fuck you up. And then you get to meet him, and you're like, this dude's dope.
Those are the exact words that I said. Like, who the fuck's this guy?
Right.
Like, who's this little monster? But, man, he had a name for that. He goes, man, let's get some sky miles today. He's always talking about sky miles, air miles,
Yeah.
And, man, he was just, his Greco to really wrestling, grappling was, it's amazing, and his spirit in the gym, it's no bullshit. Come here, work hard, work smart.
No ego.
And, yeah, no ego, just fucking let's get to work. He's the type of guy I'd be like, oh, why are we talking? Why are we talking right now? And it just no bullshit. And man, I enjoy training with him, man. I'm actually glad he's back in San Diego. That's good news.
He said you're actually one of his favorite people to work with.
Man, I'm saying the same thing about him, man. He's a great training partner. I put in years with him. It was kind of sad to see him go, but I know everybody has their own journey, and I always knew that he'd be back, someday, or at least still be around. And I imagine, I've heard some guys come over from Alliance from that Phuket top team where he's training at, and he's always recommended that gym, and he brings in some good guys over here, and they always say the same thing. You know you're a good person when people are talking good about you.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go back to Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Des Moines, Iowa.
That's right.
It's you throw a dart in the middle of the United States of America, it'll land on the bullseye. That's the heart, the quarter zone. That's my state. That's my city.
That's a big wrestling state. Did you wrestle growing up?
Yeah, I wrestled as a kid growing up, and then, as my family split apart, I tended more to baseball and other athletics, and then I got back in wrestling in high school to my junior year, and I had stopped after that and was pretty committed to baseball.
Oh, so you were gonna go pro baseball, huh? Was that the goal?
Yeah, I was looking to go to college. I had really good, I had really good skills.
What position?
Bills, I guess you'd say. By my senior year, I was playing catcher. I played second. I played outfield, and then one day I come running in, and my coach was like, "Hey, you ever caught before?" I was like, "Yeah, like in Pee Wee." He's like, "Gear up." And then I started playing catcher, and I was actually really good. I enjoyed it, and I ended up kind of owning that position, beating the next guy out, and that was my spot. And actually, I enjoyed it.
Jeremy, ready for this? When I was in third grade, guess what position I was?
What's that?
Center field and catcher.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. I love baseball. I actually watching my girls play softball now. It's amazing. I've been trying to tell them my little plays and be aware, and they're just kind of looking at me like, "Yeah, all right, Dad."
Jeremy, do you want to know why I quit playing baseball?
You became a fighter?
No. I was out in center field. You can't call timeout in baseball.
Yeah.
I pissed myself in center field.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It was all like that sucks.
Yeah, you should have just whipped. Why didn't you just whip it out, bro?
I don't know. I'm in third. Like, it's not big. It's still not big, but like it wasn't really big. Like
you should have bent down to tie your shoe and did one of those.
Well, we had black pants, so you couldn't really tell. But in the dugout, you probably smelt me.
Oh,
I didn't tell anybody. I finished out the season. I was like, I'm not gonna play next year.
That's classic shit right there, dude.
He was the smelly kid on the baseball team. He smelled like piss.
Fuck you.
They're like, what is that?
Hang on, because every time I got up to hit, I was like, this is going yard. I'm going for a home run. And guess what?
Yeah, no home runs.
I struck out a
You
lot. No, I had a couple.
So did Babe Ruth.
Yeah. How was you
trying to hit the ball?
How was your batting average?
He's not. I don't know. I was pretty consistent. I was a good hitter. I was the type of guy that, there'd be fast pitchers, and I was pretty consistent at, always pulling the ball to like right center to get extra bases and get my my guys around that are on second. So I mean, I could hit anybody, and I just I was just one of those kids that was like, man, hit, like, especially if I played outfield, wherever it was, hit the ball to me. Like I want to make this play, especially if it was like a ground ball to outfield and the guy's on second, he's trying to score and go home. I was always like wanting to just fucking gun it all the way down from outfield and just make that throw and get them guys out.
So
that was just me.
Yeah. So I caught two things there. One, maybe like the fact that you can hit balls and your eye-hand coordination is so good is why you've been knocking motherfuckers out. That's one thing. And then two, maybe why you like fighting so much is because you want to be the guy out there in the baseball field making that big play and be the hero. But when fighting, like, you're the fucking hero.
Yeah, of course. I would agree. Ever since I was 16 years old and I actually put somebody out, and the feeling that I felt there and all the love I was getting, that feeling, you're just like, fuck, I want more of that. And it's like, and it's a good accomplishment too, just for yourself personally, because not really anybody knows what truly, how much work that I actually put in. At night when I'm running, when everybody's sleeping, and I've already trained enough throughout the day. So it's like that. It's for yourself, and it's also for the love that you get and you receive. And probably with the hand-eye coordination for sure, man. You always got to watch the bat crack the ball and keeping your eye on things. Awareness. It's always good to have.
Yeah, when I swung, I looked like where I wanted the ball to go, and it didn't go there. It went in the catcher's mitt. That sucked. And then I would go back to the dugout, and I'd be like fucking like crying, like and like put like so no one could see it, like fucking just trying to hold it in, just in my chest. I'm trying to hold tears in my chest. I'm like, don't look at me, Jeremy. Like,
no, dude, I bet you when you got a hold of it, though, you blasted.
Yeah, I had a couple.
Big tree trunks and legs there.
Hey, I had 2 in the park home runs. That's my claim to fame in baseball.
Okay.
And pissing myself in center field.
Did you eat sunflower seeds?
Back then?
Yeah. Did you like just?
No.
Man, no.
I chew tobacco now.
I still eat sunflower seeds. I still eat sunflower seeds. I love sunflower seeds.
Man, I get them all over, bro.
Well, Jeremy, Stan the Man here. Usually we introduce ourselves a little bit, but you obviously know Menace.
Yeah,
you guys have gone to war before, but Stan the Man here. So one question I have for you. You started at Miletich's originally, right? I would think, being in Iowa?
Yeah, Miletich was a school that I went to. I actually started off at DMMA. It was Des Moines Mixed Martial Arts. That's where Josh Neer was. Josh Neer then went up to Miletich to get better training, and then I followed him up there once I was able to kind of get some wheels. I ended up going up there and training the last like 2 better years up there, and then eventually that shut down, and he brought me out to here.
Oh, so you went out to California with Josh Neer?
No, Josh Neer stayed back, and I was on the rise of searching for better training. He had his daughter and stuff going on for him there, and eventually I just realized, I was like, you know what, I'm actually getting better, and I'm going to one gym for Muay Thai, I'm going to one gym for Jiu-Jitsu, the best school, and then I'm going for my martial arts training. And I was like, man, you know what? There's more options out there. There's some higher training. Miletich is gone, so I decided to go try out a few things and just go travel and see what the best fit was for me. And at the time, I was managed by the same guy as Hermes Franca. And I remember watching Hermes, big overhand, putting knees to face. And I was like, man, this would be a great guy to train with. He's like, hey, I'm heading out to San Diego. And one of our stops was at Victory MMA and Alliance MMA. Victory had Dean Lister and a bunch of good grapplers and fighters. And then, Alliance was just Dominick Cruz and just those killers over there. So, once I landed down into Alliance, I pretty much knew I had found my home.
Dominick Cruz is one of my favorite dudes. Because I would go in like fight week, right? And how he likes to do his little interviews with the fighters he's commentating on. And he'd be like, you're fighting another alpha. Like he calls it straight. There's no he doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? He calls it how he sees it. And I love that in a human being. Because, I'm sure you get it. I've gotten it where oh, you're a fighter. Let me fucking fluff you up and fucking blow you. It's like, dude, no. We can never be real friends because you're you put me on this pedestal. I need dudes around me that are real motherfuckers that tell me I'm dressed like an idiot or I fucking smell like shit. Not dudes that are oh, you're fucking awesome. So, and I got that at Dom a few times I talked to him. I'm like, yo. He was making fun of me kind of. And I'm like, I guess we're friends. Because I only you're not hurting my feelings, but I can tell you're trying to take a stab at, you're not even trying to take a stab at me. I can tell you're being very real. And I was like, I fucks with that in you, and we should hang out. And he was like,
I don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah, that's kind of what he said. And I was like, fuck you, Dominic, I'm cool, okay? So.
Well, he's a home.
I'll grab your little ass, and we're hanging out, all right?
He's a real home team type of guy, so I'm sure him and Jeremy are close, so you're probably a bit of the enemy in his eyes.
Well, no, I disagree, because 3 alpha male guys beat me. He's got a big thing against alpha male. If anything, he would be rooting for me, no? Jeremy, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I love Dom, dude. That's my guy. He's always gonna keep it real and how he sees it. I didn't really catch what you were saying about the alpha male team. Is that when you were over there? Is what I'm getting, and we had the thing with the alpha males. Is that what you're saying?
No,
You cut out a little bit.
No, I went to alpha male like way before I was like in the UFC. I went there just for like 1 week. No, but I had fought 3 alpha male guys in a row, and that's why I went on that little fucking losing streak.
Oh.
And I would go in and talk to Dom, and I'd be going against the next guy. He'd be like, "Hey, so Dennis, what did you switch up going to this camp?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm gonna fucking keep doing what I'm doing." He's like, "Well, you think it's a good idea? Like, you're going against alpha male guys, like they studied you and they know what beat you." Like, I'm like, "Nah, fuck that. The last loss was bullshit." He's like, "Well, you still lost." I'm like, "No, I did." He's like, "Well, the record says you did." I'm like, "Fuck you, Dom."
Yeah, I get that. You know what? Me and him both talked. We always thought that you should have came down to Alliance before then. We're like, dude, you belong over here, not over there getting fluffed and feathered.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, I honestly thought that you. I know for a fact that you did beat Feely. The judges didn't see it that way. He was just pointing, going for some takedowns. But I thought you won that fight. And there's another couple ones that I thought you got robbed, bro. Even me and my wife, we watched. We're like, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
I remember like maybe two back to back, even or something crazy. It was like, fuck, you're getting robbed.
So I think you should know this, and I think the public should know this. So I've been TKO'd a few times, right? You are actually the only person that actually put my lights out. And the reason why I know this is because, like, I lost, whatever, I was upset, and I was like, nah, they shouldn't have stopped the fight. And then I went to, like, the hospital and stuff like that, and I'm sitting there talking to my jiu-jitsu coach, and I was like, man, I can't believe they didn't drug test me. And he's like, bro, they took blood. I was like, oh. Damn. All right. Fine. Very well.
Yeah. Hey,
good call.
I've been there too, man.
You
I
know?
thought, I got knocked out by Ease Edwards, dude. And I didn't come back till like way later. And then I was sitting there talking. I kept realizing I was asking the same questions. And the guy's like, "Who's president?" And is Barack Obama. And I was like George Bush, bro. I'm like, and then they're like, bro, they're like, you gotta go to the hospital, man. I was like, all right.
So I had trained with Yves prior to him fighting you, and like we went for and if you listen to my podcast with Yves, I talked about this, how like I went. It was me, my buddy Dan Valmont, who was the assistant coach at Hofstra University, and my older brother. We all went out drinking on like a Friday. Yves doesn't drink, right? So and Yves would stay with me and my roommate, and the next day, hey, Yves, like, you got a fight, come up, let's go for a run. So we ran the boardwalk, which is 4 miles. Like, it's like 2 miles down, 2 miles back. Me, my older brother, who doesn't train at all, and Dan Valmont smoked Yves. I dropped back a few times, like, Yves, listen, man, you got a fight come up. Like, pick it up. He's like, fuck you, Bermudez. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, and we were having a conversation while we were jogging. We got back. I showered. Came out, and he was just coming. I was like, Yves, you got to be kidding me. So when I found out I was fighting you, I'm like, dude, if Yves beat him, like, I should crush you. And then it didn't go that way. But hang on. But during that fight, we get, things are intense and stuff like that. And I remember being like, dude, fuck Jeremy Stevens. Because he came up to me after, like, I accepted the fight, and you were like, thanks for taking the fight. And I was like, yeah, like, whatever, And then I lost and whatever. And, my tensions were high. And then I saw you at a fight. And I met your wife, who's a fucking absolute saint. And you had just got engaged to her, I believe, right?
Yeah, that night.
Yeah. That night? No.
Yeah, that day.
Damn. And so you guys were all high and mighty. I had a fight coming up. And, like, you were like, hey, Bermudez, I'm getting a beer. You want them? I got a fight coming up. You're like, fuck you. I'm getting you a beer. I'm like, yo, man, I got a fight coming up. I'm not going to drink it. You're going to waste your money. And you're like, I'm getting you something. And he came back with a water. I'm like, I actually really like this guy a lot. He's actually... Because a lot of people, like, when you do your social media and stuff like that, not your social media, but, like, your interviews and stuff like that, like, you're in it. Like, you're game face, fight ready. Where I could see where people are like, this guy is a mean person, when you're really not.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I'm a very serious dude. This is, people don't realize, I've my whole life I was like always like scared, and the way that I grew up, hiding behind shit, So this is how I protect my family. This is how, these guys, there's really no friends in this business. Yeah, we can have a photo, we can do this, but at the end of the day, bro, I'm here to beat your ass in this business.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. I'm not trying to make friends, and this is how I support my family.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, bro, we put it on the line in one of the greatest fucking crowds and one of the best fight cards ever in history, and put on a war. So after that, I was like, this guy isn't a friend. He's become like family now, bro. Anything you ever needed, I always said, San Diego.
That's right.
Always welcome. And that's the side that, a lot of people don't really get to see. And, it's hard to kind of show it when people just ask you about fights. But when real fucking good, smart people, they actually get in there, they get a different side, they get a different feel. It's a good way to connect with people because we're all human beings, bro. I believe in one race, the human race. And the more that you can kind of let people just, hey, man, like I was insecure, or hey, man, sorry about this, and you keep it real, the more way we can connect with people. And I think that's a good thing. And I've been trying to tap into that more lately, but when business is business, I guess.
Right, yeah, for sure. And Stan, like, Jeremy's offered me a bedroom in his house, not like multiple times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess, now I'm retired, like, I guess I could kick myself in the ass for that, because, I mean, you guys have some great training over there at Alliance. Like, you guys are doing some fucking fantastic things over there, man.
Yeah, it's the San Diego coast, bro. This is where mixed martial arts begun, was in San Diego. Back with Dean Lister, Ken Shamrock, all them guys. Those are like the OG legends. It's spread across here, but Southern San Diego's kept a really good feel. Yeah. I train at Atos Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Those guys are in ADC World right now. We're doing 2.5-hour grind fucking practices, bro. We're little men and people that would never train wouldn't even know what to do. It's real grimy. Then I come up here and I train with Tony Ferguson and just grinding, bro. Hours and hours nonstop. This is all over the Pacific Coast, bro. And it's amazing to have these gifts right here available to you. Sure. All you gotta do is go try it out, man. It's a blessing.
For sure. Now, like, you have a couple kids, I have kids. That's why it can be conflicting. Kind of, missing your kids for 2 weeks or a month, going away to train, So sometimes, like, it's, I guess, it was just easier to stay here, really, and you didn't feel as guilty leaving, which is, it's tough. I mean, I'm sure you understand,
Yeah, it's all about time management, working your time, figuring it out. Like you said, man, I have a saint of a wife, dude, who just put her dreams aside and really let me kind of do my thing, and I make sure that I take care of things on the back end, and I wouldn't be able to do it without her. Yeah. And as far as like my kids stuff, bro, I just let them know the truth. I'm like, hey, Dad's got to go bust ahead. This is how we live, and they're going back home. They're in school year all around, so they're actually going back home to Iowa to visit some family. So I left them pretty set up tight, and they know that, hey, this is just a small sacrifice for the bigger picture.
Right. How old you have two girls, right?
Yeah, 2 daughters.
How old are your girls?
10 and about to be 8, so I'm actually missing a birthday.
Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that, but, I mean, I'm sure you'll make up for it later.
She's good. She's got a taquero and piñatas all over the place, bro. She's in good hands.
That's right.
And she's got the pool going, so...
Hang on.
Good.
Well, that's something funny too. That you two fought. He's Mexican. You're Puerto Rican.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
His lady's Mexican.
No, aren't you Mexican as well, Jeremy?
I'm a quarter Mexican. Si, senor.
Yeah, he's Mexican.
But your lady taught you all your Spanish, no?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, he knows.
I have a lot of my tradition.
Okay, you're Puerto Rican and don't speak any Spanish. I'm just
Fuck
saying.
You, Stan. Everybody knows that.
When you two fought, it actually tapped into the Mexico-Puerto Rican rivalry. That's big in fighting. It's big in boxing.
Well, I mean, how many people know that Jeremy Stephens is a quarter Mexican?
I think nobody, unless you follow him.
So how does that tap into the Mexican-Puerto Rican rivalry?
Because he's Mexican.
But nobody knows he's Mexican, you idiot.
Fans might know.
I think if you watch me fight, I think they know, man, this guy must be Mexican.
Yes, I can see that. And yo, you are actually one of the most inspirational guys to watch because you can be down the cards, and I'm like, nah, this dude gives zero fucks.
Sends it.
He's gonna send it.
Yeah.
So you have, you're actually fighting a fucking Mexican come up here soon, no?
Yeah. Fighting a guy in his country.
Dude, are you gonna rep like are you gonna like pump that you're a Mexican the whole time, or like fuck it?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, my first UFC fight, man, came out with a Mexican bandana, and it really just had nothing to do with like I'm not the most Spanish speaking person, but I come from the South Side Bottoms of Des Moines, where we were staying at my abuela's house. You know, and my dad was living with his brothers. There's everybody in there. There's a South Side Mexican Italian neighborhood. I grew up with all Mexicans. You know, in my family, that's all we ate was Mexican food. So I grew up around the culture, but meeting my wife, I really tapped into it more. I actually went and visited her mom and dad's family at their ranch in Nayarit, in Chilapa and Los Pilas, and those were humble territories, man. So I really just embraced the culture, their humbleness, they're willing to work hard and just good people all over the world, man, and that's what I represent.
How Mexican is your lady?
She's 100%.
Okay, so
Mexicana.
So the thing is, like, I think I know Jeremy Stevens, right? He needs a little bit, like, he needs to be afraid of his lady slightly. And those Latinas can be pretty spicy, and that's probably why you're married to her, is like, she keeps you in motherfucking check. Am I wrong?
What's that? You just cut out a little bit.
I said, like, I feel like I know Jeremy Stevens, right? And those Latinas are a little crazy, and like Jeremy Stevens needs to be a little bit afraid of his lady for it to work out, and she probably strikes a little fear in you, no?
Oh yeah, dude. My wife, she's definitely raised the bar for me. You know, a lot higher than my original standards, dude. I was a fucking animal back in the day, dude. What do you expect?
Yeah.
I had no direction. I was just fucking anything that moved. Just a terrorizer, you know. And then I met her, bro, and it just really changed my life for the better. And she's the realest fucking person I know, and she's just brutally honest with me, and for sure. Yeah. Have I ever came home late, and tried sneaking in the door and then got punched right in the chest? For sure. So yeah, there's a little fear there, bro.
No, I mean, I met her that one night. I forget where were we at, Barclays or I forget what fight, and I was like, nah, she's dope. Like, she's a real one. You know?
Yeah.
And I forget.
100%.
Maybe a fan did something and you almost beat him up, and he was like, no, fucking sit down. And you're like, yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky my lady's here. And I was like, damn, okay. It's amazing.
Hey, and I do remember getting you, I got you a Red Bull.
No, you got me a water. Didn't you?
Oh, was it water? I thought I got you a Red Bull too.
I mean, there's a solid chance where I was like, this guy is trying to party. Give me a fucking energy drink. I'm fucking ready to go, dude. What's your favorite energy drink?
Favorite energy drink? Probably a Blue Rockstar.
A Blue Rockstar. Have you ever tried G Fuel?
Nah.
Well, we're gonna send you out some.
Nice. Send me some cases, my man.
You got it. We'll get right on that.
We're gonna send you some G Fuel and a Menace and the Man shirt you can wear when you train.
Woo.
Nice, man. I love free stuff.
And
anybody else out there listen, you guys got any free things? Send them my way.
I love free things. Is that the Spanish in us?
Free.
Yep.
Libertad.
Free food. I don't know what you said, but
free in Spanish, I think.
I would imagine, right?
Libertad. Freedom.
So you're going out to Mexico on this coming Sunday?
Yeah, I'll be in Mexico this weekend
to get acclimated to the elevation.
Yeah, we'll see what it does, man. I've been running mountains. I've been busting hours, man. The other day I ran 2 hours 15 minutes. Trained for about 4 hours with Tony Ferguson on killer intense shit, but all good work, bro. So my legs, my body, it's ready for the heat. We just got to go get out there and get those lungs adjusted. And I think it's a quick, easy fix. There's some things in my diet that I can really tap into. And other than that, man, it's just enjoy the journey, have fun, be loose, and Grey Goose at the end of the fight.
For sure. Is Tony going to the fight?
What's that?
Is Ferguson going to the fight?
I don't know. Just see if the schedule can come down. I'm hoping to get him down there a little bit for a few weekends. You know, he's trained in the mountains in Big Bear and the altitude, and he trains like a madman, dude. I've literally thought that, you know, because I do some crazy gnarly training where I'll look over and no one else is around.
Yeah.
But I brought a friend up here the other day, and me and Ferguson we put in 5.5 hours literally in the gym of just training, grinding, just doing nonstop shit, Mayweather shit.
Yeah.
And my buddy, he's like, dude, I think you met your brother, bro. He's like, I didn't know there was another person like you. You know, and me and Ferguson just rocked out, bro. And it was cool that he came here. He welcomed me with open arms. Right as I got in, motherfucker taped my hands up. Dude, we just started just getting after it, doing all types of shit at a real high level, real smart, methodical thinking. And it just made it real fun. And we just got after it all day like two kids in a fucking jungle gym. It was gnarly.
I like it.
Yeah, I've heard stories of how Ferguson trains, like listening to Eddie Bravo and stuff, and he's 8 hours, 6 hours. Like he trains like a 9 to 5. Like he'll train a whole day pretty much. Yeah. And it's like, dude, why don't you stop? Just keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't, man. We literally, when we stopped, we were just kind of chilling, watching a little bit of film and going over some shit. And we got after it, dude. We were up running until about like 1 in the morning last night, while everybody's sleeping. I ran 75 minutes in the morning. And then at night, I busted out another hour and 5. We just got in. We got after it all damn day. So I enjoy this type of training.
He's super intense as well. Super intense. Like I met him one time, and like the intensity, it didn't waver at all. He was like ready to fight me because I made a bad joke.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of misunderstood, like me a little bit. He's intense. He's just passionate. He's telling he means what he says, and he loves what he does, and he just kind of comes off unorthodox, but he's a real passionate dude. I mean, the guy we just kind of, I met him before, we sparred before back in the day, and we've exchanged some word over Twitter, but we've hashed a lot of the stuff out. And this guy came in, he's wrapping my hands, he was stretching me out, bro. He's taking care of me like a lifelong teammate. It was really cool to see, and I was like, damn, this is like what we were just talking about earlier. Like, man, this is the side that you don't see of a real genuine dude who cares. He's putting in his time with me, and he doesn't owe me a goddamn thing.
Right.
He's just doing that out of the kindness of the heart, man. That's what fighters are about, bro. That's that real shit, the raw shit.
So after this fight, after you win this fight, the next camp you'll have, he'll definitely be a part of it, no? Hello?
What's that?
I said after you win this fight, the next camp you have, he'll definitely be a part of it, no?
Yeah, I actually plan on extending the friendship and the training. Not a lot of people get invited up here to Tony Ferguson's gym. And, he's giving me good compliments. He's like, fuck, dude. He's like, you're in shape, bro. He's like, I don't really give that compliment out a lot. He's like, you're killing it. And I was like, yeah, bro, I do this. I live this life. This is how I train all the time, stay ready. And, training with somebody like him, bro, somebody can actually keep up and do things like this. I plan on, keeping that friendship and that training partnership going. I could see us, doing big things.
For sure. So last question, right?
Yeah. Well, we can go all night with him. I got many things I could say to Jeremy Stephens.
Last question is, you started at the big leagues at such a young age. Where do you see the ceiling of your career? Or you're just gonna keep riding it until fucking the wheels fall off? Or do you have a backup plan? What's the plan for Jeremy Stephens? Obviously become world champion. What's the plan?
Yeah, the plan is kind of do what I'm doing. I've been tapping into like motivational speaking.
Okay.
I've been talking to my boy Miles, and tapping into real estate, taking my money and investing into real estate. Other than that, there's a few other things on the line, but right now, man, I'm just getting my money and enjoying life. Every day is a new day. I could check out tonight, tomorrow. Who knows what the fuck's going to happen? I'm going to enjoy the day. I'm going to get after it. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to tell the ones that I love them the most, and just keep rocking, bro. Keep setting out the good vibes, being a good person, and make money, put my money into real estate, and just watch it sit back, collect, and go enjoy my life and raise my kids. That's the happy end game for me. You know, I'm financially free, have things set up for myself, let my hard work just kind of take care of itself in the end, so I can retire and retire happy and enjoy life.
Cause what age were you when you were in the big leagues? When you were with Zuffa?
21.
I was 18.
That's what I thought. 18.
Fought pro, and my 21st birthday was my first fight in UFC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, that's a long time.
And he never left. You know, sometimes guys wind up having a little downside, and then they leave for a fight or two, and then they come back. Jeremy Stevens been with the UFC 12 years, 13 years.
How old are you now, bro?
33.
Damn.
Yeah, he's an OG at a young age.
Yeah. Because I remember
I'm not fucking leaving.
Because I remember when I first started fighting, I was like, you know what? Maybe at 35, I'll retire if I'm not ready. And it just so happened. I mean, that losing streak really just put a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, fuck this, man. I'm not doing this shit. You know, I'm cool. You know.
I think you got more. I think you got one more in you, Dennis. I think you should come back and do a camp at Alliance.
Hang on. I know I can win fights in the UFC, but I'm not. I wasn't fighting in the UFC just to get money and to get wins. I was fighting the UFC to become a world champion. And with those losses, it just put me so far down the list that I knew it was going to take me a minimum of 3 years to get a title shot. And I'm like, and at that point, like waking up in the morning, like my body was hurting and I wasn't recovering the same. I was like, I just lost the drive. And I thought about relocating and going to another gym and just, you know, a refresh start. But loyalty is almost one of my downfalls to an extent, you know, where I'm like, no, you're my guy. Like, I'll do anything. I'm with you to, you know, ride or die forever, you know. And it was the very first gym I was at. I was there longer than I wanted to stay. And, I left, you know, for a girl, which is, you know,
the wrong reason usually.
No, I mean, but no, but it got me into a better gym, you know. But I just, you know, you know when Thursday it's pro class, you know exactly what positions you're gonna be doing, exactly who's gonna be there, exactly how hard it's gonna be. It's like after years of that, you're like, fuck, man, like, you know, where you go to a new gym, I'm sure going to Ferguson, you're like, what's up? What are we doing? And you have all these question marks. You're not sure, and you're like on edge, and you're ready to go because you don't know what the fuck you're getting into, and it ends up being a good workout.
Yeah.
So training with Ferguson, does he still have Muay Thai Anthony out there with him?
What's that?
You say Muay Thai weird, Stan.
Muay Thai, I do.
Muay.
I remember when I met Ferguson in California, he was training with this guy. They called him Muay Thai Anthony. Is he still with him?
Anthony, yeah, I know who he is. Yep. I don't know. I know who Anthony is. I've actually hit pads with him before. He kind of has like a little different style, you know, real groovy, slick stuff. But I know they're boys and shit.
Yeah. One time he set up some training when we were in California, and I met Ferguson. I grew up in the sport, but then I went up to Tony, and I'm like, you want to do some rounds with the bootleg Michael Chiesa? And he kind of like, Anthony told me he was joking around, but to me, he took that the wrong way. He basically went out of his gym bag, walked up to me, got like 1 inch away from my nose, and was like, that all depends. Can you take a punch? And I was like, you know, yeah, I'm good to spar, whatever you need. And he was like, all right, be here Monday. And I was like, all right. And then he walked away and like smirked as he walked away. But I was like, I think Tony Ferguson wants to fuck me up right now. Like, I'm sorry I fucking brought up Michael Chiesa.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, very intense dude.
He's fucking awesome, man. So
And even it's
Good
funny.
time.
It's funny with you. Me and you actually almost have like the Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation type of thing. Like Eric Uresk, I trained with him when I was like 14, 15, 16 when I was a little kid. And then Hermes Franco was actually my coach when I lived in Florida.
Nice. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then even way back in the day, I don't know when you were at Miletich, but I had my first jiu-jitsu coach.
Enough about you, Stan. He doesn't give a shit about you.
I'm just telling him that I've been a big fan for a long time, and we're fucking...
Sorry, Stan.
We've walked some similar paths. And you know what else you did? You beat up my co-host one time, too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you know, I blame that on my buddy Justin, dude, because my buddy Justin goes, dude, you're playing Bermudez, and his name's Justin Lawrence, and I don't know where you guys had met. He had
the karate guy,
or
right?
you had fought.
He fought Max Holloway on the same car as me in Denver.
Yeah, and he goes, fucking Bermudez is a scary dude, bro. He's like, the fucker's cracking pads on him. He's like, he's sharp. And I know Justin, dude, he's an explosive ass white dude, right? And he's been kickboxing like his whole life, and he's fucking gnarly. And for him to say that, I was like, he's like, man, not gonna lie, bro, I was worried about you. I was like, all right, thanks, motherfucker, you know. But he's like, dude, I remember him telling you, like, I remember him saying that, and he was like, hey, Bermudez is good, bro. He's like, I was in the back, and he's fucking cracking pat. And I remember from that moment, I was probably about 7 weeks out, and I was like, all right, dude, I better get serious.
Turn it up.
You know, because he doesn't just say that, you know.
Well, I've told you that before, Menace, as well. There was one fight where I was like, oh, Menace, you're fighting Jeremy Stephens?
Yeah,
like,
I can concur with that because Jeremy Stephens is a big name in the MMA community, so it was very easy for me to push myself the extra edge to get ready to fight Jeremy.
yeah.
But going up through the rankings and stuff like that, like, he was the one guy I wanted to go around. Like, because, like, you could be kicking Jeremy Stephens' ass for fucking 24 minutes and, like,
Yeah.
you're not promised that last minute.
Yeah. And, like, people...
He's exhausted, and he throws his fucking crazy overhand off his hip, and then you die.
He's
and
a knockout artist.
Yeah, so...
And he ends them viciously.
And like throughout my career, like, people hit me. People that don't hit as hard as Jeremy Stephens hit me and drop me. So I'm like, if Jeremy Stephens hits me, though, this could be really bad, you know?
Have you ever you guys never really even talked about the fight, right?
No, we at the event we were talking about, and it, like, really was a sincere moment for me, and almost like I can hang my hat on that. Jeremy Stephens says I was the hardest. I mean, he may have had harder fights since, but he told me I was the hardest fight he had ever had. Yeah. And I was like, that's pretty cool, I guess. But have you had...
Yeah, I told you that. I think I told you that night. You know, I was like, bro, hey, good job, man. Gave you a hug after the fight, dude, because remember, I don't be doing that shit, but I had to give my respect because I was like, dude, you brought it out in me. I remember telling you there at the thing, too. I was like, bro, it was good scrap.
Hang on, if you told me that after the fight, I don't remember it. You know, but I remember you told me that at the we were guest fighters at the one fight.
Yeah, yep, the retreat.
Yeah, and I was like, that's cool. I'll put that on my fucking underneath my fucking Instagram thing.
Bro, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
He's a savage, Jeremy Stephens. One of the best to ever do it, especially at featherweight, lightweight in the UFC. He's been there for 13 years. And I'm a big Yair Rodriguez fan, but I hope he gets knocked the fuck out when he fights Jeremy Stephens.
I'm not.
Hey, man, brother. It's going down September 21st. Please tune in. Mexico City, ESPN main event. You're going to have two great fighters going at it, but there's only going to be one standing above, and he's going to be on the canvas.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a vicious one for Jeremy Stephens. Vicious knockout there.
I like it, bro.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You're the man. You're the man, Jeremy Stephens. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, dog. No, man, this is a pleasure getting on here with you, man. We'll have to do it. Like I said, doors always open in San Diego, brother. More than welcome.
Yes.
You, Dennis, and Eric Uresh should have a sleepover.
Whoa, here we go.
And even Pat Cummins is from Alliance, too, right? He was out there for a minute.
He was, but he's not there now, right?
Yep. You can work on that Puerto Rican tan, bro. I got a pool, so you'll be good.
Go on. I'm listening. All right, man. Have a nice night.
Hey, thanks, guys. You too, man.
Take it easy, Jeremy.
Peace.
You too, brother. Thank you.
Wow.
Jeremy Stevens is a real one.
I was gonna say you knew. I was gonna say, wow, I didn't know he was that cool, but you knew he was that cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah. But there are things you like. I feel like if you're cool with him, he's cool with you.
You know what we didn't do there? We didn't butter him up for the next interview and say we want to talk about street fights. We want to talk about
that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So after he beats Yair, let's get him back on to talk some street fights.
That's like you said, like me, you've talked about it. Like when you share, a cage, a training room, an octagon with somebody,
weird
a ring,
bond builds.
It's like as long as there's respect, there's this bond,
But yeah, once he started talking, I was like becoming a bigger and bigger fan. I didn't realize we walked.
Because hang on, like I said, when he does interviews for fights and stuff like that, people be like, this guy's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
But like he said in the interview, like he's intense, man. He's like, fuck, he ain't here to make friends.
Yeah. And even like if you look at where he comes from that old school Miletich room, and now even Alliance. Like we talked with Eric Uresk about them. They're like one of the on another time I could use the word unheralded is about talking about Eric Del Fiero because he doesn't like the publicity or whatever that's what a lot of his students say, but he's one of the best coaches in the game. Cruz, Jeremy Stevens, Phil Davis, he coaches a lot of guys that are career top 10 guys.
For sure.
All right, let's jump into Coach Caleb, and then we'll call episode 43 a wrap. But, that's even what I was going to say. When you two never talked about the fight, I was going to ask him do you know that you broke Menace's leg?
Oh, yeah, we can go there.
With a leg kick.
Yeah, we'll talk to him later.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
He didn't break my leg, he fractured it.
That's a break.
Or a fracture.
All right, well, a fracture, a break.
Wait, I'm weak?
No, I didn't say you were weak.
No. How's your leg feeling?
Great, actually.
Really?
Everyone was like, he's probably in so much pain. Psh. Like, I've never taken a leg kick before. In the moment, you hit me right in, like, the spot.
Yeah.
So I had a Charlie horse. Why is this now?
Was one harder than the other?
The first one. Because the first one was in a great spot.
Well, no, that's my kick.
Yeah. And the second one hurt because I wasn't prepared for the second one. Like I thought maybe if you were going to kick me a second time, you were going to like set it up, but you just ran at me as I was
I thought that would look better.
Yep. I'm sure you did think it would look better.
Someone not wanting to be kicked is like funnier than someone's like, yeah, go ahead, kick me.
Well, did I say, yeah, go ahead, kick me?
You said kick me twice. You said kick me, I'll step back.
Hello?
Oh, right.
Coach Caleb.
Hey, what's up, Stan?
How are you? Welcome to Menace and The Man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Bet your ass.
Sorry we ran a little late. You know what it was? We got a little bit of a late start. And then I always tell guys, we want them for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, but if we have a good conversation, it always goes 40, 45.
Caleb,
hour.
you know how it is, dude.
Yeah.
Because my first session with Caleb, he was like, we'll talk for 45 minutes. We talked for an hour and a half.
Yeah. We had Kevin Ross for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, that guy's kind of a wizard. I had a feeling that was going to happen. That's all right, though. It's good. It's good conversation. It's a good guy to talk to.
And then Jeremy Stevens, we pretty much just had to kick him off the phone because we were going to go all night with him. We were broing out, especially him and Menace talking about beating each other up.
Wow.
Punching each other in the head.
Yeah, that's always good conversation. It seems like there's a lot of beating up. I saw the video where Dennis kicked you in the leg. How's your leg doing?
Dennis was just asking me about that. I'm doing good. No bruising. And, I mean, I've trained before, so I've taken leg kicks. But even in the video, he hit me right in the Charlie horse spot. All right. So it was definitely one of those, And then the second one, I knew was coming, but I thought maybe we'd, like, set up for it. And he just charged at me when I was, like, walking away. So that one hit like a untensed muscle, if you will. So, you
took it well. You bore it well.
Yeah, he got me good twice, but
I'm a sniper.
Yeah.
And I don't like him.
Dennis, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We're doing the show. Obviously, you've been paying attention. I think we're on to something here.
Yes. So the voice you guys are hearing now
Stan, I wasn't asking.
Well, I was going to introduce the mental sensei, Caleb Rogers, is the voice you guys are now hearing. Mental coach to a lot of UFC fighters. He's worked with Dennis. He's worked with Kevin Ross, He worked with our guests from last week, Devin Clark, Joey Beltran, a lot of guys. Continue, Dennis.
Fuck you, Stan.
So, Coach Caleb, I think Dennis needs one of those talking tos right now because he's going to negative town.
Nah, I'm just joshing.
So, what did we catch you in the middle of? We appreciate you keeping the schedule open for us. Sorry we ran a little bit late, but what did we catch you in the middle of?
Well, so I've got a couple seminars this weekend that I'm giving. One at 10th Planet BJJ Kansas City, a local 10th Planet club. And then the owner has a wife, and so this is what kind of caught me a little off. It's a dance studio for girls. And so I'm sitting here thinking, well, what can I share with girls? Like, with the dance studio girls. Their environment's a little different. I emailed and talked to the teacher, and, they don't really have a heavy emphasis on competition. And as you know, I work with a lot of people who do. So right now I'm definitely kind of going to my banks like, okay, what are we doing? And their big thing is focus. So that's what I'm working on, is prepping a speech of focus for dancers. And then I've got the 10th Planet BJJ guys, which I feel a little bit more comfortable. That's kind of my zone.
So let's back up a little bit. 'Cause you hopped in my DMs and you're like, hey man, I'm out there, I'm coaching people, first one's on me, let's do it. And I was just like, fuck it, I got nothing to lose, whatever. So we talked, and I remember asking you, like, why are you doing this? What made you get into this field?
Yeah, well, so I'm a CPA, certified public accountant, and in 2015, I was sitting there in an office in a cubicle with like no windows and no walls. And in January of that year, I lost my grandfather, who was like, really important to me, kind of my central male figure growing up. And when I did, I looked at his life, and, people say, hey, don't ask the big questions when you have a death. I think that's completely wrong. I think it really puts things in perspective of like when you reconcile your own mortality. So I started kind of asking those questions. Why am I doing what I'm doing? What do I like about this? Am I even good at it? And I didn't like a lot of the answers that I was coming up with. And I realized, I was like, I can do accounting, and I would be competent. I would be all right, but it would never be what I was best at.
Was the number one thing of why you were doing accounting was for the money?
Security. Yeah, absolutely. When I met my wife, I was actually doing acting. I was involved in acting and theater, and wanted to go out to California and do that whole thing. But when I met my wife, I was like, oh man, maybe I better settle down and actually make some money and get some security. And that kind of almost became like an idol. Like I began to like lose myself and my own identity in status, right? I worked for a Big Four global accounting firm, and I made good money and was in mergers and acquisitions, and it sounded sexy, but like I hated what I was doing. So I realized, I was like, this is not a good fit. And furthermore, like, since going on this journey, man, you really got to figure out kind of who you are when you have everything that you kind of identified taken away. And in doing that, that's kind of what I help my fighters do, is establish powerful identities and then go out and compete out of them.
All right. So now, what was it like? You just talked to your first fighter and fell in love with it, or you just hit the ground running? Like, how'd you
I reached out to a guy.
How'd you pick fighters to get into? Like fighters, you wanted to get into a fighter's mind.
He does anybody.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
he does
how did
CEOs. He does. Look, he's doing a girls' dance studio.
I know, that's what I'm saying though. How did he get into fighters' heads? Was it slipping into their DMs and just picking out fighters, or what made you think of, let me try some of this avenue?
Right. I was training at the time. I trained, at a local gym, and I was doing some research, and it seemed like, with mental coaching, life coaching, executive coaching, I was already doing consulting. I thought, well, maybe I could get into executive coaching. When I started doing all my research, it was kind of like the wild, wild west. I mean, there wasn't a ton of certifications around these life coaching certificates and stuff. And I talked to an associate of mine, and he basically said, like, look, if you want to learn something, go out and read a book and do it. If you want, the marketing and the credentials, then go back to school and pay for it. And I thought that was pretty good advice. So I started picking up, looking into like, what am I interested in? Where do I feel like there's a low barrier of entry where they're not going to be saying like, hey, do you have a doctorate in psychology to come work with me? And I was already interested in fighting. I trained with athletes, and I thought, well, this kind of makes sense. So I picked up the top 3 books in sports psychology, and I just started doing it. And ever since then, I keep reading and I keep doing, and it's kind of led. Within a year, I was working with somebody in the UFC, and then it kept growing. And as Dennis puts it, I kept working that DM game on Instagram and just planting seeds. At that point, planting seeds and seeing what was going to grow where, and doing my best to keep everything sharp. And one thing kind of led to another, and yeah, now I am getting fortunate enough to start working in executive coaching as well as working with fighters and the like.
All right. Who was the first UFC fighter that you worked with?
The James Krause.
The James Krause.
That's right. Yeah, based here in Kansas City. He's coach over at Glory MMA and Fitness. A couple of his fighters, Grant Dawson just entered, Negan Anderson, Zach Cummings. They all train over at Glory. And James kind of spearheaded that march. I think he beat Sam Stout to get his UFC contract back a while ago with some short notice. But yeah, he was the first one. And I remember it was really exciting. I was like, oh man, like I'm doing it. I'm actually living my dreams.
I can't botch this one.
You can't what?
I can't botch this one. I got to really do a good job. Did you feel pressure going from amateur guys to a UFC guy?
Did I feel pressure?
Yeah.
Let me think. Like, sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's always that pressure for sure. Of like, am I good enough? Am I worthy? You have those questions.
Yeah.
Like, I had been doing it for free for a while, and full disclosure, like with James being my first UFC here locally, like I started working with him complimentary too. Mm-hmm. And as I kind of worked, it's almost like that feeling when a fighter gets to that level where they think they know who they are, and then like it's kind of proven, and they win a couple fights at that level, and they're like, oh, like I can belong here.
Right.
Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, like that's kind of, I had my own little mini version of that when I was like, okay, like I am good at this. I am getting results, because it's one thing to feed it and think it and know it, but then I started seeing it in the lives of my clients. I was like, damn, this stuff is really working, which is good. That's what you want, right? Like is the stuff to work. And so by seeing the results in my clients and the impact that I was having on their lives, that kind of fed the flame.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're talking about, Dennis. You're telling me to switch cameras. What do you got to do? Take off your glasses? Oh, switch your gaming glasses? What are these things called again?
You ever hear of blue blockers?
Are you talking to me? I'm having a hard time hearing Dennis. I can hear Stan, but I, for some reason, can't hear Dennis that well.
Have you ever heard of blue blockers?
What are blue blockers? No, what's this?
It's like people that stare at screens all day. The screens give off blue light, which can, I don't think it's amazing for your eyes. And it's the blue light out of the LED screens that, mess up your eyes a little bit. I've got multiple pairs of glasses that are blue blockers, and I'm rocking them on the show.
I'm looking at them. They look very trendy, I guess. Would that be the right word?
Well, I'm going right now. I was talking to you, so I decided let me go movie star.
Yeah, so
yeah.
He was telling me to change the camera so he can do a switch.
Yeah, but he fucking botched it. Anyways,
I didn't think you were gonna switch your glasses.
Well,
that's
you're
what we're going
stupid.
For.
Okay, you got to know these things about me. I act on the fly. So
you're a dork wearing blue blockers.
You're a dork for wearing fucking... You have shitty eyes, you piece of shit. I'm trying to keep mine awesome. Gosh. Haters gonna... So, when you get a client, you have a blank slate. Where do you... Like, do you just come out and like, hey, what's your problem? Or I think I know the answer is like, what's the goal? How do you build a blueprint for a client? Okay.
I always got to go in understanding. I'm not big, like, I'm just like, hey, I've got a message. Let me just hammer that message down your throat. I really want to know, like, what is it you want to do? What's going on with you? And as I begin to ask a lot of questions, it's almost like that Socratic, questioning method. I keep digging until I figure out, okay, like this is kind of what makes this person tick. This is what they believe in. This is what they value. Maybe these are a couple of things that might be holding them back. And then I'll start to kind of add wisdom or tools or accountability methods or resources that I've, pulled from. But yeah, it always starts with understanding. Like, I got to know what you want. Why do you want it? Who are you that's going to get it?
And everybody's different, right? Do you feel like you have to pull way harder to get what you need out of somebody than for others? For example, like, by the time I had gotten to you, I was very open-minded. I'm like, dude, this is what's up, man. I'm afraid of this. I don't like this. Like, this is what I do good. Like, I was an open book. I feel. You could tell me if I'm different. But I feel like some guys, like, and we were talking to Kevin Ross earlier, is like, sometimes people have this macho thing about, I'm like, what? Like, that means I'm weak if I'm talking to someone else and telling them I have problems and that I don't believe in myself or I'm scared. Like, that's not a man.
Right.
And I see that so much because that was my thing for a very, very, very long time.
Machismo.
I don't need some other dude telling me how to be a dude. Like, I am the man.
I am the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Brene Brown's like leading the charge right now in vulnerability and sharing that, the call to courage. I mean, that banner is getting hoisted up, and I think people are responding very well that, hey, we don't have to necessarily hide behind these issues anymore. And as you kind of look at our culture today, I mean, like, it very much is like best foot forward, right? We're always kind of posting greatness, and it's really hard to be like, okay, everybody's freaking awesome. Like, where am I at? Let me kind of battle these things alone. And I just don't think people have to go at it alone. Like, when I saw people that were on like a national level who had all the talent in the world square off against somebody, and one opponent would mentally dismantle them before competition even began. And that's when I was like, man, people are kind of living, and it's not always fear. I don't want to like pigeonhole that that's all I do is address fear. That's not the case. Like, there is a lot of people who are very, very mentally tough and not really scared, but just want to improve or be held accountable or look for methods to grow. So, like I said, it's not just fear, but it certainly can be. And it certainly helps having somebody to be a neutral third party to talk through these things,
Right.
and kind of bounce ideas off of. Like,
Right.
somebody who's, maybe not directly involved with what's going on, but has that kind of outside perspective to give you new approaches about how to stay consistent in the gym. And that's huge, man. Like I said, like, you had Joey on a couple weeks ago, and he shared some of his things, which, I think was great of him to do so. But fighters have lives too. Athletes have lives too. And that life, if it gets a little messy or a little hairy, can absolutely intrude on the consistency of which they show up, with the focus level that they show up. And that will have an impact on their performance. So when you can have somebody to kind of process and helps you process a little bit more quickly and get you to kind of reframe things in a way that's like empowering rather than debilitating, that can be a very useful thing to have in your camp.
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember, I worked with you for my last UFC fight, and we established my goals and how we're going to get there, and a mantra, and you had me doing cold showers of just being comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's what a fight is. And
Right.
I remember, like, so this is, I don't think a lot of mental coaches probably do this. Like, our last session before my fight was like, I was going through a very, 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 very hard time with my girlfriend, and that's what we had a 1 hour session. 45 minutes was him talking to me about a girl. The other 15 was like, just going over what we had gone over prior sessions, because that's what was heavy on my mind. That's what I needed to talk about.
What was the mantra, if you don't mind me asking?
The mantra was, I had my own mantra. It was just, I would look myself in the mirror, and I didn't care who was listening. I didn't care who was around, but like the door would be closed. I'd be in the bathroom by myself, you know. But it was when I said the mantra, I wanted everybody outside that could potentially hear to be like, damn, like I believe in him too. And my mantra was like, I'm not going to get tired. I will win. I will take this guy down. This guy cannot beat me. Tonight is going to be my night. I'm going to be the best version of Dennis Bermudez anyone has ever seen. And like, as I would continue saying these things of how badass I am, like, as I just did, kind of like my voice would slowly start to like increase. And I would maybe even repeat them again and again. And I would look myself dead in the eyes and see a Dennis Bermudez that no one sees. A Dennis Bermudez that is focused, that wants to, like, who's ready to actually die. Like, who is so focused on what he has to do that nothing else matters, you know? And at first it would be almost like silly and like, oh man, I'm talking to myself in the mirror. And like, by the end, I was ready to fucking kick the fucking door down to get out of the bathroom. And he had me doing this mantra directly after doing a cold shower, which is something very uncomfortable that for most people, a nice warm shower is a very relaxing thing. Yes. He had me setting the temperature as cold as it could be and staying in there for, 5 to 10 minutes and, going about a shower.
Yeah.
And then getting out and looking myself in the mirror and telling myself like, yo, your opponent didn't do this. Fuck him. I'm better than him. And it was like, and I remember doing it, before I took a shower, before I headed to the fight. And I remember coming out of the bathroom and Ryan LaFleur and Greg DiPasquale being like, damn, this motherfucker's ready to go. And you know how Ryan LaFleur is like one to be like, dude, you're so gay. Were you really just talking to yourself in the bathroom? Like, he was just like, okay.
Yeah, like you need a life coach. I'm your
mental.
Hang
on. I wasn't. No, it was a mantra that like me and Caleb had gone over.
Yeah. And what, you were doing this in the bathroom at Long Island MMA?
No, the bathroom of the shower.
Of the arena.
Of the hotel I was in before I headed over to the arena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's one thing if I could tell any fighter is like, it's weird, right? Like, you might whisper so no one hears you. Like, no, fucking say it with your chest.
Be a gorilla and fucking come out with it. Yeah.
Caleb, can you add to that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're dead on. Like, one of the things that we work is creating fight state. We want to create peak performance state. And when you're taking a cold shower that, increases cardiovascular blood flow, it increases testosterone, it's a great time to kind of lock in a powerful dominant state. And, if you can remember, kind of going back to our training days, we want to win the 3 Ds, right? Damage, dominance, and duration.
Right.
So that damage, dominance, and duration, that starts from when we find out about the fight. So we are creating a dominant mindset from day one. And this is kind of what I was talking about with, like, identity. Oftentimes fighters will place their identity on the outcome of a fight. If I win, I'm a winner. If I lose, I'm a loser. And, their self-esteem, their self-worth will match their bank account or their followers or their win record. And it sucks, right? So we've got to claim our own identity. And here's the thing, competing out of a lack, competing out of desperation, the need to prove to somebody, that machismo that we talked about. I'm not going to argue that it's not effective. It absolutely is. It can propel you to the highest levels of the sport. But the problem is people don't tend to have peace when they do that. Like, it's always, well, what's the next best thing? What's the next thing that I can do to prove myself? I want the results of winning and performing well, but I want to have peace along the way. And so I think, what I coach from is to compete out of a sense of power. I tell everybody you're born with a spirit of power, love, and sound mind. And that power is identifying, like, who you are, being consistent in what you think, what you say, and what you do with the things that you can control. And so part of that process is we feed that identity. If we're claiming who we are, and you're saying, hey, I'm Dennis Bermudez, I'm a hard worker, I'm the man, nobody can stop me, like, I train hard, like, whatever those things are that you know to be true about you, then you get to compete out of that state. And it certainly helps, getting yourself elevated and getting that blood flow and to kind of take a dominating posture and attitude while doing it.
For sure.
So now what do you do to get to the point where you can mentally coach fighters? Are you reading books? Or are you going off of personal experience? Or are you just shooting from the hip? Like, how do you figure that out?
Yeah, I just throw shit on the wall and see what sticks. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, you have worked with, you've done endless, like, I'm not endless, but you've done multiple trials with amateurs, and you worked up to pros, and then, like, for free. And I'm sure you wrote down things that worked, and I'm sure you wrote down things that, he didn't like that.
Yeah.
That didn't work so good,
Yeah, I knew that, it's funny because, like, my biggest critics are the people who have the degrees and have the training, which is fine. That's the scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. But I knew that, like, my edge was going to have to be my results. Like, so like I said, I read all the time. Like, and I read a variety of things from psychology to philosophy to religion to history to war tactics to, all different types of things. And I'm like, okay, if I can use this or draw from this, then I will. And furthermore, like, I'm getting licensed in hypnotherapy. So, that's a new thing, Dennis, that I added that, I didn't have back when.
You're going to hypnotize me?
Not only, yeah, man, like it's pretty awesome. Like,
okay.
It's pretty potent stuff. So we can work on, like, a conscious level, which is goal setting, positive self-talk, all of these things. But then we can also work on a subconscious level to, like, really bake in what you're there to do. And so I've been locking in, like, trigger phrases with some of my fighters and creating fight states or relieving anxiety before fights, healing, like recovering from injuries. Like, I don't know if you talked to Kevin about, any of that stuff.
A little bit.
His hand's healing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, his doctor said it was, like, amazing how fast he healed. No, I don't want to take full credit for that, like, at all. Like, I know Kevin he's a warrior. He's a badass dude. But I certainly think that the mind-body connection can help. And when you explore, like, what you can do subconsciously with these things, like, it's pretty potent. So, constantly reading, constantly challenging myself to self-educate. And then, two, like, I am looking at doctoral programs or things like that. I've talked to my wife a little bit about it. But just doing. I do it a lot. I work with a lot of people, and I've had, I learn from you guys too, man. Like, that's what's, that's what's awesome is I try to keep that empty cup mentality of, like, okay, like Kevin Ross, great example. Like, that guy, really experienced fighter, like, teaches a lot of stuff. And when I pick up things from him or from you or from other people, like, I'll certainly take what I know to just keep that ball rolling and grow whatever I can to do to help my people be at their best.
Right. For example, Stan, if you buy 4 sessions with Caleb, he wants a follow-up with you because he wants to get better. He wants to learn from what you liked or what you didn't like or what helped you or what didn't help you. So it could be you, it could be someone like you. He can then use these tactics to
apply them.
Right.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is the same.
Yes. So I have Dennis Bermudez, Joey Beltran, Kevin Ross, Devin Clark. Who else you working with? James Krause?
I don't work with James right now. So here's the thing. Like, I'll work with people for a while, 6 months, a year, whatever, and then they might roll off. And then maybe they'll bring me on for a fight camp, or maybe they won't. But it's like, my goal necessarily isn't necessarily to have, like, lifetime clients, but I certainly want to have lifetime friends.
Yes.
Like, I have worked with, a lot of people. Like, I've given away a lot of free sessions, right? Like, I tell everybody, like, first one's on me. Like, let's just talk and see if it's a good fit. But in the past, like, currently right now, like, I'm working with Krzysztof Jocko. Like, he was on, I think, a 3-fight losing streak, and I came along, and, now we've got 2 in a row that we've won. Joey Beltran, we've got Kevin Ross. There's a guy who fights in Glory named Mike at the French Rock Lemaire. He's a beast.
Yeah, we got to get Mike on. Mike trains underneath Mel, or used to at least.
And even Krzysztof Jocko, we've been playing phone tag a little bit. Last week we were going to get him on, but he was in Disney World with his family, so we didn't want to. Yeah, you can't impose on that.
Yeah, Yeah, he won his fight and went to Disney World, it looked like. So.
Where you going? I'm going to Disneyland.
Yeah, well, he trains in Florida, so I don't know how much of a hike it was. But, yeah, I think he went to Disney World. I saw his photos. I was like, oh, okay, that's why. Because I don't have that review session. I'm really on my fighters about, hey, we got to come back and review.
Mm-hmm.
Megan Anderson, I worked with her. James Krause, Matt Brown, like he was one of my bigger ones. Like literally hundreds. And then, PFL fighters, recently started global, like had some fighters, from Kuala Lumpur, from England, from Australia, Bali. I mean, it's surprising sometimes who will answer those DMs.
So, okay, I'm an average Joe, or I am, Henry Cejudo, two-time world champion. How do I get a hold of you? How do I set up a session with you?
Yeah, super easy. Like Mental Sensei is kind of what I go by, like at Mental Sensei, SENSEI. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I got a website, mentalsensei.com. That's easy. Just hit me up. You can DM me, like through any of those things. I'm pretty responsive. Like I'm definitely always game to meet new people.
So, Coach Caleb, are you watching fights? Like, are you a big UFC fan?
I am, yeah. Like, I definitely, that's, like I said, why I got into it. Like, I have a tremendous respect for what fighters do. Like, that was what kind of drew me to it. I'm inspired by anybody who's willing to bleed for what they believe in. And, I mean, a lot of these guys, especially kind of getting to see what I've seen, I mean, for the first years of their career are almost paying to fight. And that's just, mind-boggling when you come from like the kind of the professional world to do something. You're like, hey, I want to get paid at what I'm good at, but it's complete reversal. It's like, no, I have this dream. I'm willing to sacrifice everything for it. And so I have, like I said, I'm just massively inspired by that. And I get into it. I think UFC has done some tremendous things. I think there's exciting things going on at One Championship, PFL, Bellator. I mean, the sport's really kind of coming to its own.
Yeah. But, well, before we let you go, we haven't done it yet. You want to talk a little bit UFC 241 with us before you go?
Yeah, let's do it. So that's Stipe and Cormier?
Yep. We'll just focus on the main card, but real quick, we'll give a shout-out to our guy, Manny Bermudez, Dennis's cousin.
Yo, what up, Manny?
He's fighting.
I wondered. Okay, cool, yeah.
No, they're not really cousins, but you know how it is when you're Spanish. You're probably cousins.
And we have the same last name.
Yeah.
Some distant relative. Okay.
Yeah. So Manny Bermudez is fighting Casey Kenny.
I got my money on Bermudez all day.
Yeah. We talked about it when we had Manny on. The last time a Bermudez fought in Anaheim was Dennis versus Matt Grice, which was one of the greatest fights of all time. Even you versus Jeremy Stevens could maybe be a Hall of Fame type of fight. I would think.
I'm just not that famous. I don't have enough followers to get the Hall of Fame love.
Yeah,
unfortunately. But if Menace and The Man blows up, UFC might be like, oh my God, we fucking actually loved him the whole time. Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, did we lose you, Coach? I thought we lost you, Coach Caleb, because Dennis was trying to throw shit at me. I don't know if we knocked wires out or something.
Nah, he's stupid. Anyways. Next fight.
So the first fight on the card is Derek Brunson versus Ian Heinisch.
Heinisch, yeah, he trains at Factory X. I've met him. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's a fucking savage. We actually were talking to Derek Brunson. When was that? Like 2 weeks ago, we almost had him on the show, Derek Brunson.
Yes.
When we did the backyard episode.
Oh, I didn't realize he was fighting, so
yeah.
We should have got him on. I mean, we should have got him on tonight. I mean, we'll have to get him next week.
Well, fight week. We don't want to bother people fight week. You know how that is. I'm sure it's a headache.
You want to bother people fight week. I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. But
no, I really do want to bother people fight week because they're doing interviews anyway. Why not come on Menace and The Man? It's going to be the lightest interview you do. It's going to be the least about fighting.
For sure.
Where every other journalist is going to ask you game plan and you're fighting this person and dumb shit. So Ian, how do you pronounce his name, Caleb? Ian Heinisch?
Heinisch. I believe it's Ian Heinisch, yeah. Trains under Mark Montoya at Factory X. Like, pretty crazy story. I don't know if you studied his background or whatever, but I believe he was in Anaheim prison or something for a little while, and then he got out, kind of straightened up his life, and has been fighting. And it's just, he's made quite the entrance. So that'll be a great fight. That's a great way to open that card.
Yes, I don't.
Derek Brunson's no joke either.
I don't know much about his background, but I do know he went real quick from Contender Series to now main card of a big pay-per-view, fighting a guy like Derek Brunson.
Yikes! I don't.
I mean, he fights in violent fashion. You know, he's a very dominant, aggressive. Just it's one of those dudes that's like deceivingly strong.
Yes, I knew
Well,
the gentleman.
I don't even say deceivingly strong. He just is strong. You just look at him. He's just a ripped kind of beast of a kid.
I like off of what you're telling me. Like, I don't like this fight for Derek, but like Derek's my dude. I'm rolling with Derek. Money on Derek.
Okay. Ian Heinisch is 13-1, and his one loss came a couple fights ago in the LFA against Marcus Perez. He got hit with an arm triangle choke, so he doesn't seem like he wins unless you get him with some jiu-jitsu. Or it seems like he wins unless you can get him with some jiu-jitsu. But you're going Derek Brunson?
Yeah, that's my dude.
What about you, Coach Caleb?
I mean, I've trained with those Factory X guys, so I'm gonna go Ian just because I know I'm a bet him.
Okay.
He's got some insider.
And I think I'm gonna go Ian Heinisch. Oof. I think he's.
Do you think they've got Derek Brunson as kind of a gatekeeper for the division now?
Well, I think it's just where he's at. He's number 9. They got him ranked number 9 right now. He's coming off a win off of Elias Theodoro, who they then immediately cut right after, and then. Or the fight after that, they cut him because he won a fight and then they cut him. But he's coming off a loss to Adesanya, loss to Jacare, so maybe a gatekeeper type. Yeah. Perennial top 10 type opponent.
Next,
we have two people we probably don't know. Gabriel Benitez versus Sojov Yusarov.
At 185?
Featherweight.
Oh. Sorry, I don't know.
Yep, so you don't know either one of them. But
pass.
So for that one, I guess we'll go with Benitez. We'll ride with the Spanish dude.
Oh, that's the dude that Manny beat, no?
Let me see.
From Alpha Male?
No. Gabriel Benitez. Is he from Alpha Male?
Maybe not.
No, he's from AKA.
Oh, okay.
And no, he didn't fight me. He lost to Feely. He lost to Enrique Barzola. And he's on a 2-fight winning streak. So I guess we'll go with...
AKA, I'll go with him. Fuck it.
Ooh, maybe I'll go with Sodif.
Oh, is he Russian?
No, he's a black dude from Team Lloyd Irvin.
Nigerian.
Yeah, won on the Contender Series. He's from Maryland.
What color is his hair?
Black.
All
right, well, we'll go with him. We pretty much were just going to do the name fights. And then next up is a huge fight in middleweight. Yoel Romero's coming back to fight Paulo Costa. Which I thought we'd never see Yoel Romero again after he won that settlement. He won like $27 million.
Oh, that's right.
But who knows how big that supplement company is and if he actually got paid. Because if you don't have the money, you can't pay it back. You know what I mean?
Right. Didn't that Costas dude get popped for...
He popped for something. But I think he's undefeated, Paulo Costa. Yeah, he's 12-0, but I believe he's coming off... Well, no, actually, right now it says he was suspended for use of an IV. So...
Let's start with Mental Sensei first.
So who you got, Coach?
I'm going with Yoel just because, I like him. I think, what is he? He's like 40 years old and, like, he's ripped to the gills. he's just one of those guys that I'm like, damn, I hope I hope I look that good. I don't look that good now. Like, but it's like hope for the future.
Yeah.
that it's possible to fight competitively. And look, he's 42 years old.
He's insane, Yoel Romero. He's a crazy, vibrant personality.
That dude, he found the fountain of youth. Like, plus, I mean, like, I don't know. Do you remember that like trash talk with Michael Bisping and stuff?
Oh my God, that's my favorite thing. I love you, boy. I love you.
Yeah, I showed you how to wrestle, boy.
And then one of my favorite pictures or memes is after he knocked out Luke Rockhold, he walked up to Luke Rockhold and was like, "I love you, man," and gave Luke Rockhold a kiss on the lips. And then he like started trying to French Luke Rockhold after he knocked him out. So imagine that. Imagine if Jeremy Stevens started walking up to you trying to give you kisses after he knocked you out.
I'd headbutt him in the face.
Yeah, not the best. Not what you want to have happen to you.
Not a good look.
Now, Costas has the youth on his side.
He's got Captain America's in his corner, Eric Albarracin.
But fucking I don't think either of them have good cardio, but I feel like I gotta go with Coach in terms of he's a veteran. Like when he gets tired, he'll figure it out still.
Well, even that, Yoel Romero is one of those weirdos that it seems like he doesn't have good cardio, but he has like 5 third-round knockouts.
Right.
Vicious third-round knockouts.
So Yoel Romero is like one of the only dudes that ever beat Cael Sanderson.
Yes.
Which is...
Twice he beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he maybe lost to him because he got paid.
Yes, possibly.
To lose.
Possibly. He got citizenship in America.
Yeah.
Type money.
So he's a
I love,
freak.
so like, you know, I don't know a ton, like you guys probably know more about this than I do, but like, I love Yoel's style. Like, he's one of the few that I see, like, these guys, like, trips a lot. His trips, like, are just slick, man. I think it's crazy. Like, I don't know. I like it.
He's like one of the best wrestlers in the UFC.
But he never keeps guys there. He almost takes guys down just to let them back up. He doesn't try to hold guys down.
I think because it's probably
exhausting.
With his age, it's he's trying to conserve energy, I think.
Yeah. But amazing.
I don't want to sidetrack us too much, but, like, isn't that crazy? Like, Robert Whittaker, like, beat him with the one hand. I mean, that's, I don't know, if that guy's that dangerous and you're like, oh, broke my hand my first round and yet we're still going to go 5 rounds.
That's crazy.
He's a scary dude, Robert Whittaker. To see what he's done since he moved up to middleweight, very, very impressive.
For sure.
But I'm gonna go Paulo. I'm gonna go Paulo Costa.
I'm going with Coach. I'm sticking with
Yoel Romero.
Yoel.
All right, and then we got for the co-main event a huge fight: the return of Nate Diaz versus Showtime Pettis.
Stan, you go first.
This fight's awesome.
Stan, you go first. Coach, you second.
Well, I remember.
Yeah, you're gonna throw me into the bus. Yeah, go first, Coach.
Stan's gonna go first.
We talked to Jared about this, and I think when we had Jared Gordon on the show, I think that the layoff, the stylistic matchup, I think Pettis is going to be too much for Diaz with the mixing it up. It's only a 15-minute fight. If it was a 5-round fight, I would favor Nate Diaz. It's a 3-round fight, so I think it's going to be a little bit of Pettis sticking and moving, and he's going to work the leg kicks. I think those have been a weakness of Nate Diaz his whole career, so I'm going to go with Pettis by 2-1, 2 rounds to 1. Diaz will have his moments. It'll be a close fight, but I think Pettis is going to eke it out with volume and the leg kicks and that whole thing.
That's good. That's good analysis.
I'm going
I love this matchup, man. I love it. Like, I love it because it's one of those, like, you have no idea. Like, Nate Diaz could show up, and if he shows up and just – sometimes he's just money, right? Like, it's just – with his boxing, like, he just doesn't miss. But Pettis, after his win, you know, it seems like Wonder Boy, like, coming on this streak. It's like this Phoenix rising resurgence of Anthony Pettis in the division. I'm like, whoa. Like, for a minute, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of like I counted him out for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, he kind of he had his kick, he did his thing, and
he was on the Wheaties box, sick.
I think the weight cut killed him. He didn't grow up wrestling. He wasn't the best at cutting weight. So let him walk around a little bit at what he naturally weighs. I think he posted something today or yesterday. He's on weight right now, or a few pounds over. So it's not really a cut for him.
And when he first entered the weight class, he looked like soft.
Yes.
I think he.
Now I'll throw this out there though, like the mental side of things, right? Like, we don't hear a lot about this, but Nate Diaz is brilliant at the mental warfare thing.
He does not give
Anthony
a fuck.
Anthony Pettis is already saying, like, this thing is personal. I just was watching the video before. He's like, it's personal. He's always been flipping me off doing these things. Like, so he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and you got to be careful with things like that because you can lose sight of your game plan.
For sure.
So, like, Nate Diaz is he coined it first. He gets people pissed off, and they make foolish mistakes. So we'll have to kind of see how Anthony keeps his cool.
I mean, I want Nate Diaz to win. I'm a huge fan of both of the Diaz brothers, but I just think Pettis is going to get it done. What about you, Menace?
I want Pettis to win.
Okay.
Just because he's down to fight. He's not waiting for these big fights and I'm going to hold out. Like, he's a fucking fighter. He's not like a celebrity now of fighting. You know what I'm saying? But, so like we've been talking about in terms of mental warfare, I don't think you can break Nate with talking or whatever you say, like, yeah, whatever, like, fuck you, like, what, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You think Pettis?
But
can be broken?
I think both guys in terms of jiu-jitsu are probably equal.
Yes, I think Pettis has very underrated jiu-jitsu.
Yep. But I think Pettis is more dynamic on the feet with his kicks and punches and, you know, stuff like that, where I think Diaz is the better boxer, though.
Yes.
With the range. So I just think the layoff isn't good for anybody. So that's where I'm going to say Pettis, and he's on this confident surge of beating Thompson, Wonder Boy, where I didn't think he was going to do that.
He was losing that fight.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so
The
I'm going to go.
first person to knock Wonder Boy out.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Pettis. And he's Puerto Rican.
And who'd you say, Coach Caleb? You're going with Pettis?
I tried to subtly avoid the question because I didn't want to commit. Dude, it's good. It's a good fight. Let's see. Pettis has got momentum, but you can't ever count out a Diaz, brother.
Flip a coin? Go ahead, flip a coin right now. What do you get?
Yeah, like, did you guys both go Pettis?
Yes.
No, you went
All
Diaz.
right, I'll go. I'll go.
I went Pettis. I think Pettis is going to win 2-1 in a close fight, but I want Diaz to win.
Got you.
Yeah, if I'm more of a fan of one of them, I'm more of a fan of Diaz. Not give a fuck. He smokes weed.
Yeah, I would rather much watch, you know, Nate Diaz interviews and such.
And I think the winner, I think the UFC is waiting to match the winner up. That's why you haven't heard who Jorge Masvidal's fighting. He said he wanted a title shot or Conor McGregor. I think the UFC is waiting for the winner of this fight to give it to Gamebred, Jorge Masvidal.
Coach, go. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go Diaz. That 209 man. Like, I could just see him coming out like hard. He wants that McGregor fight.
Because there's also something when you miss something that you fucking hit it hard. When you've been doing something every day, it becomes like, we're doing this again, or I've been here not too long ago. But like with, you know, fighting, man, I've been fought in a minute. Like going there, like, man, I missed this. Like, I'm gonna fucking show the fuck up. That's a real thing too.
If either one of these guys wins spectacularly, their next fight will be Jorge Masvidal or Conor McGregor. If they get on the mic after the fight and they say the right things, they might be the person who gets Conor McGregor back in the fight game.
Very well. Main event.
Main event.
If it's Diaz, like, you know, everybody wants the trilogy, right? Like, that's the moneymaker.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit.
Well, both of them are money makers. They're both $1 million fighters, I think. I think they both made a couple of million in their fighting career, so they're both big names, if you will.
I think it's bullshit.
What's bullshit?
Yeah.
Hang on, both those guys are worth
trilogy.
that much more money than me. I'll fight both of them in the same fucking time.
Oh, I completely agree with you. It's total bullshit. I think the pay scale is a little fucked up in fighting. But they both had pay-per-view main events where they made that's where they made their millions.
I know.
I think you hit the nail on the head, though, with if Pettis comes out and works what appears to be a good leg kick game, like if he mixes it up well, like
because
Diaz has shown a weakness.
Not check kicks.
I think he's going to fuck him up with calf kicks.
Yeah.
And stick him
Yeah,
moving.
so, you know, round one will tell a lot. Now, if Diaz comes out and pieces him up and Pettis can't find his rhythm, well, then, you know, that's why I'm with Diaz. But, yeah.
All right, main event, the rematch for the heavyweight title. The most successful championship defenses heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miletich versus the former champ, Daniel Cormier, current champion. Who do you got, Menace? You go first this time.
Because, I mean, there's something to be said about being a champ, and there's something to be, like, he's never been knocked out.
Who? DC?
Yeah.
No,
sorry.
Yeah, he got fucking almost murdered one time by John Jones.
That's right. Shit.
That was one of those ones. Like, I like DC. I think he seems like one of the nicest guys in MMA.
Hang on, did he get slapped or he just got TKO'd?
He got hit with the head kick, and then it was one of those ones where you were like, Jesus Christ, Herb, stop the fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so they've both experienced knockouts, but when you know, like DC hasn't been knocked out by Stipe, so it's like I'm kind of like your big brother.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do it again.
And he knocked Stipe cold, and then hit him with like a 3-piece when he was out.
Yeah. Man, this is tough because I know Stipe instantly was like rematch. Like he wasn't like, yeah, I don't,
He
because
got the better of me.
there's people that have lost and like I don't want to fucking fight that guy again.
Yeah.
Hopefully lose the belt and I'll get the belt that way.
It was like, I forget how many minutes, a 3-4 minute fight the first time, but Stipe was, I think, getting the better of the first couple of minutes. He was landing the better shots and whatnot.
I feel like this one's more of a coin toss than the Pettis.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Diaz fight.
This fight's like this fight's a coin toss, 50-50. But you have a guy. So have you ever had any rematches in your career, Menace?
No.
So yeah, that's what.
Almost refused him.
So that's like, what's it like once a guy beats you, knocks you out, to then fight him again? Is Stipe going to come in more tentative? Is he going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, like I guess make a point, or who knows how that works in this situation?
I've wanted rematches against guys I've lost to, but I've never wanted a rematch against a guy I've beaten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I visited a while ago, Strong Style. Marcus Marinelli is like the head coach over there, and like those guys. Don't get me wrong, every gym works hard, but those guys they do some insane conditioning stuff over there. Like it's just some of the hardest workers I know. So when it comes into like once again like that mental side of it, I think like mentally, like Stipe, like he's a fireman, right? He's used to pressure situations. Like he went into Brazil against Verdum, who was like ruling the world. Like at the time, he was just on top. Brazil, 100,000 screaming fans had like won every fight that night and knocked out Verdum, like just like silences that crowd. So I don't think from a pressure standpoint or like the mental standpoint of, is he going to rise this occasion? I don't think the mental factor will be as big of a deal. I think he's going to come in and do business because that's what he does. Now from like an ability standpoint, that's different. Like that's like you can't, like Cormier's got a track record with the exception of Bones Jones. He beats everybody. Like my buddy and I were talking. It's like, you guys remember like Mortal Kombat? It's like when you play all the way up, you play like Cormier is like Goro, right? You got to beat Goro, and then like there's only one above him. Like that's Jones. It's like Shang Tsung, but he's like pretty much the king. He's impossible. So I don't know. I love Stipe's camp. I love what he stands for, and like my heart would be Stipe, but my head says Cormier. So I'm gonna go Cormier.
Well, even like you said, how hard Strong Style works. AKA is one of those infamous gyms for how fucking rough it is in that practice room. So, and
I haven't been. Yeah, I've heard those guys just go nuts. Like injuries, they go nuts out there.
And DC's the captain out there, so he's fucking training like a fucking maniac for this one. So. I mean,
right.
So Dennis, through this whole conversation, what's your pick? You going with the betting odds?
Yeah, I just feel like
who's the favorite?
I can't really see it yet.
One more thing. Cormier did say too. Now you never know, but he did say this could potentially be his last fight.
Right, he's like on his way out.
But then
so he's kind of like.
But then he's also flirting with John Jones. He's calling John out pretty much and saying 205 again. And then after he did an interview the other day on Helwani, Cormier, John Jones went on a Twitter tirade and was answering shit all day on Twitter saying, like, I thought I already answered this not once but twice.
I'm going to go off of just age here. Like, if I'm a betting man, I'm putting money on Stipe. He's not the favorite.
Stipe's the underdog.
Yeah.
I think I'm leaning towards Stipe because you know what it is when a guy's that old. I want to root for DC because he's that old, but at the same time,
he's a goddamn
American hero.
GOAT. Yeah,
American hero too. He's an Olympian. He's a wrestling hero, but when is he gonna age? You know how it is when you're that. Like even Yoel Romero, is this gonna be the fight where he looks old?
Right.
Like remember, I mean,
it's like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, like Randy Couture was older, but remember Randy Couture, like when he fought Machida, he got front karate Miyagi crane to the face. That was the fight where he didn't look too good. He looked older in that fight. Remember, he fought even Brandon Vieira. He looked old in that fight. So it's like, when do you get old?
When do you lose it?
Yeah. So what do you think? You going Stipe?
So,
I mean, as a wrestler, I want DC to win because I'm a wrestler. But on the same token, like
Stipe's a wrestler too.
Like, yeah, but not the same level wrestler.
Yeah.
So the wrestler in me wants DC because, America. And then Stipe, like, I played video games with Stipe.
Yes.
Like, we've got mutual friends.
Yes.
So on the personal side, I want Stipe to win. And then if I'm betting, I want Stipe to win. So I guess that just pushes me towards Stipe.
Yes. We hope to book both on the show in the future. But
and also,
I will say, like, I'm stoked for the rematch. I can't wait.
DC's more busy with the commentating and stuff like that, and
well, he shut it down for this fight.
Oh,
he's just been training like a fucking madman. Okay. What I've seen on social media, yeah, he's posting every day, dripping in sweat photos.
Yeah,
like you were trying to post today, but you were really jerking off. But anyway,
Stan, what the fuck is your deal?
Yeah,
I kid. All right,
there's Dennis always asks for like embarrassing stories about him, right?
What'd you say?
I said Dennis always asks for embarrassing stories about him. Isn't that right? I always hear you ask like, "Hey, you got any embarrassing stories?"
Yeah, what do you got?
I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not that embarrassing, but it cracked me up. Like, I've done a lot of sessions, right? I've done a lot of sessions, and typically they're through Skype. And I always ask all my fighters, I'm like, hey, book time, like, so give give priority to the space in the meeting. Well, Dennis had got done working out. I was getting ready, and I guess I had that protein shake and had to use the facilities. And I've never, I've never been on a call with somebody who had the audacity to just go ahead and drop trowel and keep the same level of focus while going through our mental coaching session. No, I never saw anything, but it was reminiscent of the locker room of yesteryear. I was like, oh my God, this dude's really just gonna drop a deuce, right? And
I was totally in it. He only saw the bust, and I was going number 2. That's what I do. I actually do a lot of FaceTiming from the throne there.
This is true.
I guess if I like you,
thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah, if I like you, that's where I'll talk to you.
You see what happens, Coach Caleb?
That's how I know.
We're going on almost an hour here.
Yep. Well, see you later.
Well, so wait, Coach Caleb, we're all going Stipe?
I'm going to go Cormier. Like I said, like I just, I love Stipe. I think like it's anybody's game once again. Like you never know, it's a heavyweight fight. But if I look at like past performances, I try to judge off of like a history of success, and Cormier has been and proven himself to be pretty successful.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, that'll wrap up our analysis, our little preview for episode 241. If we do an episode Thursday with Aljamain at GSP, maybe we'll get a little more into it.
For sure.
But Coach Caleb, we want to thank you for the time.
Yep.
We appreciate you. I appreciate all the help you did for Menace in his fighting career, especially getting that last dub. And
my honor.
Yeah, let people know how to find you.
Yeah, one last time, Mental Sensei. So you can hit me up at mentalsensei.com. You can follow me on Twitter, although I'm barely on there. I got to get better on my Twitter game. But Instagram for sure. Like Dennis said, I'll slide into those DMs. I've messaged all of you. I've messaged the entire roster. So but you got to, I'm out there. You know who I am. If you want to have a complimentary session and see how we can help you improve your game, just message me and let's do good work.
All right. You're the man, Coach Caleb. Thank you for all the help with booking some of the guys, and thank you for joining us here tonight.
And Stan, even though you're not a professional athlete, you can hit up Caleb and try and fix your life because you're a loser.
All right. Well, I'll do that, Menace. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Coach Caleb, take it easy, my man.
All right. See you, fellas.
Peace. All right, Stan. It's a little late for me right now, and I got to eat.
Yep, let's wrap this one up. Real quick, we'll just give a shout-out to our friends who we hung out with this weekend, or your friends, and I piggybacked with you, Aljamain and Ali Quinta.
Yep.
Ali Quinta's got a fight booked against Dan Hooker.
Yep.
So I was trying to this weekend see if Ali Quinta wanted to come to GSB with us, but he can't because he's not drinking and partying.
Yeah, but he could maybe still come. I'll hit him up.
No, well, he'll be training. But Aljamain is all about it.
Yep.
So maybe we'll do it with Aljamain, maybe Chris Wade, maybe Algieri, maybe someone else. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys updated and hope you guys enjoyed episode 43 of Menace and The Man.
Yep. Well, see you later.